Velina mai kako. Welcome to Keep It Aloha, a podcast that keeps aloha by wearing puas in your ear to signify your relationship status. I'm your host Kamaka, and I was never a pua in the ear kind of guy. At one point, I was into the Facebook official thing, but that ended a long time ago. You ever thought, what happens if you have flowers in both ears though? What does that mean? Anyways, we got a very talented guest today, but before we introduce her, I gotta remind you to check out my other business, mahaloshoots.com, to get some shirts just like this, hats, and Hawaii kind things. You can find your favorite KIA merch there too, or just go directly to keepitaloha.com to get your merch from there. We're an independent podcast, and all funds go to helping us run this podcast and bring you the best quality content every week. If supporting this podcast with money is not for you, but you still love listening to us, please consider leaving a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Doing that helps us out so much. We got a very fun episode today. I didn't realize the things that we were going to talk about in this episode with JT, aka Aloha De Mele. We talk and get pretty deep on some stuff, and this is basically just a big therapy sesh. So I think you're going to really enjoy, and you're going to be surprised learning her background and history. So grab some popcorn and arare kaki mochi, however you call it, and enjoy the episode. All right, let's introduce our guest. Support for this podcast comes from Texaco in Hawaii, which features 58 convenient locations across the state. Fueling up at Texaco is fast and easy when you use the Texaco mobile app to pay at the pump. The Texaco mobile app is a contactless way to pay for fuel, so you can get in and out of the gas station quickly. Fuel your car and fuel yourself. Pick up your favorite local snacks and ice cold drinks at your neighborhood Texaco today. Texaco at Techron, driving performance. Our guest today is a self-taught artist from the island of Oahu. Before we started seeing her signature hibiscus flower everywhere, she was a former wrestler and even got a master's degree in exercise physiology. This owner of Studio Hale discovered her love for art in 2017 and created Aloha De Mele, which is dedicated to the memory of her best friend, Mele, who was a Tricolour Cavalier King Charles Spaniel who loved chasing lizards, hanging in the kiddie pool, and his ears blowing in the wind. She is oozing with artistic talent and is one of my favorite artists here in Hawaii. I am so stoked to talk stories with her today. Her name is JT Ojerio. Aloha, JT. Welcome to the Keep It Low podcast. How are you doing?
Aloha. Oh my gosh, that made me tear up a little bit. You talked about Mele. Oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah, shout out to Mele. I didn't know that until I looked it up and did my research.
Yeah, my little homie.
Yeah, so. I always wondered where Aloha De Mele comes from.
Yeah, he was my dog. It's funny. I love when tourists kind of come up and they're like, music, right? I'm like, you are right, but I have nothing to do with the music. So, it's kind of in the memory of my doggy.
Yeah, I love that. It makes me a bit like the brand even more.
Yay!
Yeah, or Mele for Mele, short for
yellow.
Yellow, yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different things that you could get from that.
Yeah.
And we were just talking right before this about the pronunciation. Like, is it Ojerio? Is it De Mele, Di Mele? Like, just I like to know all that stuff.
I go with De, like Dia de los Muertos. So, and then I'm a quarter Puerto Rican. That's where like my crazy hair comes from. So, so it was more. The name was kind of a joke from like two angles. The first was that nobody thought I could draw. I didn't know I could draw. So it was a joke that, oh, you didn't draw this. My dog drew this. So some Aloha De Mele. And then I was a trainer, and I would pull like a resistance band out of my bag, and there would be dog hair on it. And I'd be like, oh, here's some Aloha De Mele.
Oh, okay. And some Aloha from Mele.
Yeah. And it just rolls off the tongue way easier than JT Ojerio. And I'm always like, correcting people a lot when it was like Ojerio, Ojerio, like, so just Aloha De Mele. Okay. And it's nice to have that separation too, from my name.
It's such a catchy name too, Aloha De Mele. And I love the incorporation of different languages as well.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know that one song from Kuana Torres, Kahele.
Yeah.
He has a song, Navaqueros, and he sings in Hawaiian and Spanish.
What? Yeah. I think I might have heard it playing like at a gathering or something.
Maybe.
Okay, I'm gonna go back and listen to it.
Look it up after. It's one of my favorite songs.
Oh my
God. But yeah, so we were talking about different pronunciations of things. Like, is it D? Is it de? Because, you know, for example, past podcast guest, Dwayne De Soto, we call him De Soto. We don't say De Soto.
Okay.
But I think it's just like how we get used to saying it in a certain way and it becomes that correct pronunciation, like Kauai when it should be Kauai, but people are just so used to saying Kauai. Even my last name, it should be Diaz, Buenos Dias, right? I just say Kamaka Diaz.
Diaz.
Yeah.
I'm going to call you Kamaka Diaz.
Diaz. Yeah, with a little like...
Has more oomph on it.
Yeah.
My mom and I just got in an argument about this a little bit because my mom is a Big Island girl, but she says Kauai, Molokai, like, and I'm like, Kauai, Lana, And then my husband, he works for Leliokalani Trust now. And he's always like, hey, is there an Okina and that before the I and Molokai? And I'm like, yes. And he's like kind of making me be more aware of like where all like the proper like kahakos and everything are. And I mean, just being in the public eye too, I don't want to do a disservice to, you know, Olalo Hawaii and mess up. So where I am confident, I'll sneak it in like correctly in there.
Yeah. I think there's a difference between like pronouncing it correctly and writing it without the diacritical mark. Because some people don't write it with the okinas and kahakos because they said back in the days, that's not how the kupunas wrote. You know, they didn't have that. If you knew, you knew. So we have, you know, past guests that they live and die by those, and the people like me that come from a Hawaiian immersion background are like, you need to put the diacritical marks or you'll get a bad grade. You know?
That's amazing. Yeah. I think that's, if I look back and if I do ever have children, I would really love to put them in Hawaiian immersion school because I think maybe not because you went to Hawaiian immersion school, but like it wasn't like cool to be Hawaiian necessarily.
I talk about that all the time.
Yeah. And so I was like, oh, you know, I wanted straight hair. I wanted to just blend in with everybody. I wanted to go to Mele. I wanted to get out of Hawaii. And not until I came back in 2019, I was like, wow, people wish they had my background. They wish they had my connections. And then I see the people who work for me who are in their early 20s, and there's such a push to be like just throwing in words here and there, or like emulating and just talking about stories and just the whole push. It's really beautiful. It's kind of intimidating to me, honestly, because I feel like I'm a little behind, but I'm like, I'm trying to get with the woke Hawaiianness.
Yeah, I think it's just on our side of it, the people who I guess are already at that level or have that background is to be open to people who are a little behind. Yes. And be welcoming and not judgmental and, you know, look down upon them like, hey, you're supposed to put the okina over there.
Yeah.
It's kahako, not kahako. You know. Like,
oh my God, I said it so kahako, not kahako.
That was just an example.
Okay.
I was just saying that because you're here. I was mostly thinking of Emma Watson, Hermione. It's Wingardium Leviosa, not Leviosa, or whatever it was. Yeah, so that's what I was thinking of.
I learned actually the hard way. So a lot of my artwork files, we have to send it to our printing program and everything to print it out. It doesn't recognize okinas, kahakos, or anything. Like you have to put it just plain letters. Or it'll like completely jam our system and our printer will stop working. So it was kind of funny. I had somebody come in, kind of look at all my different names of my artwork. And for example, I have something called Akala Bala because it's just like pink. It's a pink hibiscus and it's kind of like Bala. It's my names are all sarcastic. And they're like, you got to put the okina in front of it. And that actually kind of throws off the SEO. And like metadata and everything.
No, I heard about that. So I had a family friend that works for, I think it's Hawaiian Airlines. She was a cultural consultant or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But they don't put the okina kahakos on certain stuff because of the SEO. Because if you look it up, most people don't put it in. So when you look it up, it won't come up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like when you see like a picture or something, or maybe words written on a website, they maybe put it on. But if it's for like the back end logistical stuff, it's not. Yeah, it's interesting.
And
I've heard that before.
Yeah, and part of me is kind of like, well, I need people to find my website. I need them to find this. But then also like, the people who really matter are gonna be like, yo, you didn't spell that right. And so there's always that.
Yeah, totally. It's like it's very interesting. Even when I do hashtags when we upload these YouTube videos, I don't put Okina and Kakos.
Oh yeah, you can't.
Yeah.
I think you can't even.
Oh, you can't do hashtags.
You can't do apostrophe
on
anything.
on hashtags on like Instagram and stuff. I think on YouTube you can do like whatever you want, but
cool.
Yeah, those things it like separates it if you do that.
Come on, Meta.
Yeah,
let's get
I know, it's so funny. Yeah, and before we get into your whole life story, I just wanted to give a shout out to this shirt.
Woo.
Shout out to Maui because it just passed the as this comes out.
Yeah,
it passed the 1-year anniversary of the Maui Lahaina wildfires, and you were so generous and donated your art so that we could make shirts with my other business Mahalo Shoots to donate to Lahaina. And I think with you, I think it was Jack and maybe somebody else, we raised over $10,000.
Yeah.
So it was just amazing. And, we mahalo you for
thank you for including me. I know it was like a really stressful because like everybody just, what's the word? Not utilized, mobilized. And we all were just kind of like, okay, there's usually like a whole contract and everything. We're like, no, like Lahaina needs us. Let's do this right now. And it was kind of nice just to be like, all right, let's just do it.
Yeah. It wasn't like back and forth negotiation, whatever. Just like, yep, here, do this. And everybody was trying to figure out anything they could do, like giving clothes, giving their time. And, for artists, it's like giving our talents and your work and using our platform. So it's like people were just trying to do whatever they could within their capabilities. And it was super cool to see everybody come together and do that.
Yeah. And actually going off of that, Jasper and I did something with Studio Hale, my print studio. And artists like Shepherd Ferry donated prints for them to be sold.
Nice. I don't know what that is.
I don't know. You know Obey?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So he's a really big deal. I feel really bad. I can't remember some of the other ones, but some really like Tristan Eaton, who's this awesome artist from the mainland, people from other countries too, just basically the whole Worldwide Walls crew said like, hey, here's the files, you print them, ship them, all the profits go. And I think we did around like $7,000 too with that. And awesome. it was so cool. Like Kameh Hadar donated, Jasper, of course, and photographers. Yeah, it was really sad but really beautiful to watch the whole island and then the country and then out of the country come together for that. Yeah.
Super cool. Yeah. And to see all my favorite artists come together and work together too. Because I love seeing the community.
Yeah.
Because even I've had Jack, I've had Shar. And it's cool to see everybody just like cool with each other. And Jasper and Amy will come on at some point as well. So I haven't met Kamea yet, but I'm sure he'll be on at some point as well. But everybody's so cool with each other.
I fangirl whenever I'm around Kamea
and
Shar. Whenever I'm around them, I fangirl. Just because they're so... When I first started, Shar was so helpful and like would give me tips. And then Kamea with his work, not copying, but like it is sort of what I strive towards with the realism.
Yeah, you're inspired by him.
Yeah. And as the first time I met him, I was like, hi.
Dang, so you're the baby of this art group.
I am. I guess I am, yeah. So
yeah, that's
the
so
newbie.
Funny. Yeah, you're the newbie. I never would have guessed, and I never would have guessed you only got into this like
5.
Let me do my math. 2017.
Yeah.
Okay, 7 years ago.
Yeah, I only started doodling here and there, and I didn't show the public until like 2020, 2019.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I got fired right before COVID.
I guess so. And
that's fine.
That was a catalyst.
Yeah. So I was like, hey, you know what? I'll try this. And I'm not normally the person who's like, like it spoke to me and I felt this. And I'm not usually that person. I'm very much like the facts and everything. But there was a calmness in me and part of it was that I was stuck on Lanai at the time because I used to work for Sensei, the really fancy.
Oh, cool. Yeah,
really beautiful place. And it was during COVID, so we were just there. And instead of freaking out that, I had just lost my job and I don't know what I'm going to do, there was like a calmness where it was like, this art thing's going to work. It's going to be okay. Like it's going to, I've never had that before. And here we are. I guess it did work out, and I'm really lucky and I'm really blessed. I think I hit the market at the right time, and I think kind of like this, when everybody was at home during COVID, they really wanted to support local, and they really wanted somebody with like a really deep connection to the islands, and I was really lucky that I fit that bill. And just from there, you've just adapted and grown, and it's been kind of nuts. It hasn't always been fun. It's been a little stressful, I'm not gonna lie, but I would not be able to forgive myself a living like I do if it wasn't for like Hawaii uplifting me.
Totally, yeah. And I mean, the talent speaks for itself. I mean, I've known about your work for a while, and I wanted you on the podcast for a while too. I like to space out on my types of guests. So I just had a bunch of artists this year. So I was like, when's a good time where I can get JT on?
Oh, thanks.
Because I would see you at events, right?
Yeah.
Like you were seeing at the May Monarch. Was that May Monarch when
I saw you at Ho'omau, Mary Monarch,
Ho'omau's when opening. I met you.
Yeah, that's when I met you.
Yeah,
I liked your shirt. You were wearing like was it Kaiulani? Was it on there? Just Kaiulani, or was it Queen Liliuokalani?
Oh, was it Liho Liho? Oh no, the Queenie shirt. It was Liliuokalani.
Yeah.
That was a Mahalo shoot shirt.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, I like that shirt.
Yeah.
And then at Joe turned me at the Honolulu Pawn Shop, their opening.
Oh yeah. Then I introduced you to Kalia,
and now
right?
he's a client. So
nice. And that worked out after, right?
Yeah.
That's so awesome.
Yeah. Thank you for the business.
I'm still waiting for my finder's fee.
I know, right? We're trying to get him to print more, actually. Yeah. But it's also the scene. I never, you just run into the same people, and it's a good thing to be cool with everybody.
Totally.
Guess.
Yeah. You're I bought that bucket hat from you at the May Monarch, right? And I used the picture of my girlfriend to put it on top of her, and she loved it.
Yeah.
So it worked out.
That was
a good choice.
I think you sent me a picture. Is it your niece, cousin?
Oh, my niece. Yeah.
Yeah.
My niece, yeah.
She had it on.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So she had it before I gave it to my girlfriend when I came back to Oahu.
She has to try it
out. Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, let's get to know your life story even more. Let's start at the beginning. Yes. Where are you from? Where you grad? And what was it like right now?
So I was born on Oahu. We lived in Waipahu for like the first 6 or 7 years of my life. And then the rest of it, I've been in Pearl City Palisades. I went to Punahou. I got in 6th grade. So before that, I was like at Pearl Ridge Elementary, St. Timothy's in Aiea. And yeah, my family's from Waianae and from Kailua Kona. So
the drunk side of the island.
The what?
The junk side of the island.
Oh my God, I thought you said the drunk side.
Yeah. No, drunk side would actually be Hilo. Yeah. Rainy and drunk. Yeah. I don't know if people know this, but Hilo was voted as one of the drunkest cities in the US.
Really?
So there's like this article, or I don't know what it comes out, but I think it was like Hilo was at the top. I think top 3 was like Kapa'a, Kauai or something.
In the nation
per capita. Yeah, so you can go look it up. Like Hilo would be in the drunkest cities, and I think it's like Bozeman, Montana, and like other places. But yeah, Hilo was like 1 year it was number 1.
That I don't know how to respond to that.
So drunkest Hilo, drunkest Kona.
No. Wait, where are you from again?
Hilo.
That's why you hater.
It's just, I make that joke all the time. Yeah, anytime I hear Kona, I'm like, oh, the junk side of the island.
Whatever, yeah.
Even though it's very beautiful and has way more beaches and whatever. But let's not get into it too much.
I only ever went to Hilo when I started doing Mary Monarch. So I was like,
why else would you go to Hilo?
That is true.
Yeah, unless you want to go jump off waterfalls. Like, yeah.
Yeah, Kona is cool. Waianae is cool. Like, yeah. But then I'm like a little townie who went to Punahou. So
how did that happen?
I applied. I got waitlisted, and I got in like last minute. And yeah, it was Punahou was very different. I know it gets a lot of hate, but it definitely set me up for success in terms of believing in myself and believing to do my best all the time. Time management, high expectations of myself. And I was really, really lucky with all the resources there. I'm also an only child, so I think that's why we could afford to send me there.
That makes sense, yeah.
But I know it gets a lot of hate, but Punahou is a very good school.
Yeah. I think it's more of a like you like to
haters.
You know, it's kind of how people hate on success, but for here in Hawaii, it's a little bit more joking, like the public school, private school debate. Like, oh, you went to private school, or oh, Punaho, or Iolani, you know? So you automatically make these assumptions and stuff. But I mean, honestly, you tell any parent, hey, you could send your kid to Punaho for free. You don't have to wear it. They would.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
or Kamehameha or any of those private schools. I mean, because the resources are crazy. I mean, we like the public school because it's like the social aspect of it.
Yeah.
I think that's what people say. Like private school kids are a little different, you know.
You can tell the lifers, the ones who went over from like kindergarten on. And I would say if I had kids, they would have to go to public school first.
And then,
And then
that's what I would do if I have kids as well.
Yeah.
Yes, because I like the social interactions of public and like, you know, start them from the bottom, you know?
Yeah, it's also cheaper.
Yeah.
But like, it also teaches you to appreciate.
Yeah.
Because I don't do homework. I'm so bad. I would just go and like take tests and just, whatever. But the teachers at public school wouldn't really chase after me to like, oh, you're not doing your homework. It's just like, oh, she's not doing her homework, whatever. Mm-hmm. Like, the Punaho, the teachers would be like, hey, like, I know you're struggling. Like, I really want to help you succeed. Mm-hmm. And they held me accountable, which at the time was really annoying because I was like, just let me not do my homework. I don't care if I get a good grade. I know. But they're like, no, like, you can do this. Like, I see. And I'm just like, fine. I still got away with not doing some homework.
That's funny. You must have been a good test taker. Or you just you got by with like a 2.5 or something.
I know. I what is it? C's get degrees, man.
Yeah. Well, I mean, because you played sports, right? So I think athletic probation would have to be over like 2.5 or something.
That is very true. Yeah. I did not get put on athletic. Yeah. My coach would have. Oh, he would have been so mad. But yeah, I was super, super into sports. And we had some great coaches too. And it kind of shaped who I am and how I approach things.
Yeah, that was the most interesting thing about you when I saw you on the Uncut podcast and you're talking about your wrestling background and how you were classmates with, I think, Manti, was it?
Manti and Ilima are both my year.
Yeah, so Ilima was on here. Manti, I'm still waiting for you to come on.
I know.
Just check my messages.
Come on, homie. I know, maybe we're all just like, we'll just all like send him a collective.
Yeah.
Yo, bro.
Come on.
But like, I think, and not to... Actually, he has to brag. So 08, 9, and 10. What year did you grad?
I'm 11.
You're 11. Okay. So 08, 9, and 10 were all really close. And that was, I want to say, kind of our golden years of athletics. Mm-hmm. That's when like everybody was winning state. We had all these standouts. That's also around the time like she's a little bit older, but like Michelle Wee, the golfer, and she's like our first like big star and everything. Started coming up, and they're all really close in those 3 years, like married and everything. It's just so, it was we had a lot of focus on sports, I guess, throughout that. And then Carissa is like the year younger than me.
Yeah, Carissa, all these Hamas.
Yeah, she is. I used to see her in the pool practicing holding her breath.
Oh, really?
Early mornings, and I was trying to cross train. No, she just went extra credit.
Oh, okay.
And that's why she's like amazing.
Yeah. Makes sense.
So it was all sports and athletics, and not athletics and academics. I should probably say that too.
That's how you know she really loves sports. It's all sports and athletics. So you started playing sports at a young age, or is it more of a high school thing?
My parents put me in like the typical soccer, and then I used to get, you might know, I used to get teased a lot when I was a kid because my last name, as we said, is Ojerio, and I had hairy arms. Yeah. So, and you're like, bro, kids are mean. Kids are so mean. And
I'm afraid of kids more than I am of adults.
Yes.
Well, not like middle schoolers, maybe like elementary, I think is fine, but the middle school. Yeah. To like early high school, I feel like those are the worst.
I think that's when they don't realize the effect that their words have on people. And especially with social media, man. I see some people talk about how their daughter got cyberbullied, and I'm like, what the hell? Like, why would that's nobody? So that's a whole other thing. But Yeah, I started wrestling because I guess I had some pent up anger. And my guy cousins all wrestled. And so I wanted to be like them. And I kind of just like naturally fell into it and really liked it. And anything I do, I like to do like 100%, unless it's my homework.
We'll get a 70% on homework.
We'll pass.
Yeah.
But, and then from there, I was like, I'm going to do football just to prove a point that, football is not that much harder than wrestling. And granted, it was only intermediate. It might not have been as hard as wrestling, but I'm not saying that football players don't work hard. They definitely do. It was a whole different thing. Like, it was weird being, I
played football, yeah.
How do you move in those pads, man? I kept ripping mine because I had a little bit of hips, and I just kept ripping it open. It was
I think, so pads back then were way bigger. So I see my old videos and pictures, and even the shoulder pads are sticking out. Your jerseys are super big, and now it's the super small, tight ones, and even the pants. Some people don't even wear the pads, the thigh pads and the knee pads.
Oh, really?
Or they wear really small ones, the professional. Some professionals they have their pants are above their knees. They don't even wear knee pads.
That's crazy.
But I played with a girl in Pee-wees as well, and it was hard because we never really wanted to hit her, but she was bigger than everybody else. So she would hit you, and then if you get hit, it's just you got hit down by the girl.
Yeah.
But you don't want to go full on against the girl, because if you hit her down, you hit down the girl.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a double-edged sword. But was that
It was 100% like that.
Okay.
Yeah, I had a few people who were just ugh. Okay. But then I had one who was I'm just going to launch her just to launch her. And I got launched, feet off the ground, everything. And I was like, but my bun didn't fit under the helmet. And if I put it here, it would push my helmet forward. So I always had to have my hair down. And it just made it even more obvious that was a girl.
Tricolour head and shoulders.
People used to call me that all the time. I was in for Halloween a few times.
That's funny.
But I just did it to because I wanted to try, and it was cool. It was intermediate, so when I was a freshman, so I could still do intermediate. So nobody hit puberty really yet, so it was fine. But with the whole Manti thing, I just want to be clear, Manti and I were not on the same team. He was already bumped to JV, about to go to varsity. And then just because it went together, I did judo as well.
Oh, okay. Nice.
And judo was super fun. Again, maybe it's just me or wrestling, but judo, you wear so much clothes with your gi. So that kind of threw me off. But yeah, and then I wrestled throughout the summer for the national team, and just, it was...
So you were really good at wrestling.
I wasn't bad.
I mean, if you were wrestling in nationals and winning stuff, then I don't think it's bragging. It's just stating the facts.
I did win state, and I did get All-American. So
you were good. I think... I don't think that there needs to be any humbleness in that,
I won for judo too.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. See? So for example, I moved to Kaiser my senior year of high school to play soccer and football. And we made it to the state finals, and we played against Puno, and we lost. But that was the farthest that Kaiser ever made it to the finals. So I like to think it was because of me.
Probably.
Yeah, and that's me being humble.
I mean, you were good, weren't you? And you were a model too, I remember that.
No, I wasn't a model.
I thought you were in a calendar.
That was so when I had my long hair, so I went to Peace Corps, grew out my hair, and then I came back in 2019. I did the race to 50K in 2020, and then I was growing out my hair again because I cut it between that, because I didn't want. It was one of the things to save money. Because I'm paying off all my student loans, so I was save money, don't pay for haircuts. That's one expense that I don't have to worry about. So I grew it out, and I was going to donate it. So that's why I had it. And one of my odd jobs, because I was doing odd jobs, was to do this photo shoot for this Men of Hawaii calendar. So that's what I ended up doing. And during that time, I was working out, doing Insanity and stuff. So I was in really good shape. So that's why. Yeah. I'm not a model. Just clarify that. So I just want to let people know that.
That's Pixar didn't happen, and it happened.
But we do have it. That picture is hanging up in my girlfriend's room. Opened on August.
If you can get it scanned, we'll print out. We can do a 5-foot one if you want.
No, I will see. That's I wouldn't mind that if I could get back into shape like that.
Yeah,
because I don't want to have people see that and then see me now and they're like, What happened to that guy?
Oh, no. Yeah. Well, it's not one thing that I've had to learn the hard way, and I don't know how like deep this is, like getting a lot of body dysmorphia from with wrestling, and it's better now, but cutting weight and just thinking, oh my God, I ate this Pop-Tart, I need to go run and lose 2 pounds now. Just it really messed with my mind for a while. And so understanding that being at what you thought was, a really great physique is actually very unhealthy. And priorities change. And like I actually ended up getting really injured because I was just working out so hard for such a long time. And I'm definitely paying for it now in my and I'm still in like my early to mid 30s. So
I feel you're speaking my language.
I know you have like the sore joints and everything.
I have all these injuries that I've accumulated over the years. So
Tell me more.
So I don't know if I shared it on the podcast, but I'm gonna get knee surgery.
Oh,
so
both of them?
My right knee. So I have this thing called bipartite patella, which is when your kid and your kneecap doesn't fuse completely. So it's like it looks like this. There's like a missing. I have the MRI. I can show you later, but it's like disconnected. So this part is not attached. So it's usually asymptomatic, but because of what I've been doing over the last year, with running the marathon, playing soccer, surfing, working out at F45, it got really bad, and now it's like I can't run. So I haven't been able to run since like February of this year. So I've been out that long. So now I'm just getting super out of shape. And that's why I'm at the Forge, this place connected to F45, doing physical therapy. If anybody needs physical therapy, check them out.
Yeah. Is it subluxating? Is it popping out?
No, so it's just a mechanical thing. So what's happening is because there was a lot of trauma. There's some edema underneath, which is so all this fluid. Oh yeah, so the physiology. Yeah, so there's a bunch of fluid coming in. I mean, inside of it, building up, and then also it's just my quads just started to shut down. So I don't know if you can tell, but I have a lot of atrophy in my right. I don't know if you can see from that angle.
I am looking. It does go a little bit more this way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my my quad is like just not firing for some reason because it's sending signals over here. So I've been seeing like all kind of people, and I finally saw Dr. Crawford, which is a knee specialist here.
Okay.
And we decided that it's best to get surgery. So I need to put 2 screws inside of here to connect it. And then, first he has to do a bone graft because it's not completely it won't completely align. Okay. So he has to do a bone graft, and then he's going to put 2 screws in it, and he's going to do this BMAC, which is like this bone marrow transfusion. He's from my hip into my knee. Well, I'm going to be out, so.
Yeah.
And then it's going to hopefully help with the bone growth. So that's that.
Yeah.
And then I separated my shoulder like 10 years ago in college playing soccer. And I still have like.
And you're right-handed.
Yeah, I'm right-handed. So my whole right side is just shot. So I'm going to get an MRI on this soon and see if I need to do anything surgical with this, and I'll do both at the same time.
That's crazy, because if your patella isn't like really functioning as it should be, and it's kind of basically just chilling there, your ACL, which everybody knows what your ACL is what everybody tears. Yeah. It's basically where your quad connects and becomes your ACL and attaches over there. And so if like that's not firing and your quad is such an important, you're going to get all. I'm surprised you don't have any like compensation injuries. Like, knock on wood. Sorry, I don't know if I should have said
like
that.
Like workman's comp?
Oh, no, like...
Because I don't love that. Is that what you mean?
No, just like if you... Well, it's different for you because you have your shoulder and everything on one side. But like if you notice somebody gets injured, it usually zigzags up the body because they're compensating. So for example, if it's your knee, maybe like your lower back on one side or your foot on your other side.
No, yeah, that's all happening. So I've seen like my girlfriend's at a neuro reset therapist. So I don't know if you know anything about that, but like, yeah, he does some stuff and he's telling me how like, everything's connected, and I started going to a chiropractor. I've done everything. Yes, because my hamstrings are getting super tight. Like I went to the chiro and she said like my hips and hamstrings are the tightest she's ever seen.
Oh my god.
She's been doing it for years. And then my lower back, I started to get lower back pain while working out. So it's all connected because I probably not stretching out, but also, so my shoulder, I was doing all these things and just kind of like dealing with the pain because we come from the athlete mentality where like you can push through the pain.
Yeah.
And then I also had wrist surgery in 2021, so I can't fully I can put pressure on, but it's sore. So like doing push-ups, even surfing is sore. But so when my knee happened, I can talk about this because you're probably interested, right? Yeah, I know how interested people are.
I'm like staring at your body right now.
Yeah. And I love talking about like the physical body and sports and whatever. But so when this happened in like January, and by February I just couldn't run anymore. I was still working out at F45 because there's this challenge thing going on, so I was trying to complete it. I would stop doing all the lower body stuff and just compensate for upper body. So like if it was like a lower body exercise, I'd just do push-ups or whatever upper body was. But because of how my left wrist is still weak, I would put more weight on my right side, which is this side is already not super functional. So this side got super bad. So like when I would start to surf, like it got to a point where I couldn't like surf anymore. So I had to paddle in with one arm.
That's scary.
And that was like the last time I surfed because it got so sore where I just couldn't do anything. So yeah, my right side is just like completely useless right now.
Oh,
and then my left wrist is also not that strong. So my left thigh down is the only good part of my body.
Thank you.
And there you go. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
No, I'm like praying for your lower left leg right now.
Yeah. Please stay healthy. Yeah.
Oh man. Are you in chronic pain?
A lot of this is chronic. So that's why he said it's gotten to the point where I gotta take care of it in the long term. So this is chronic. This has been chronic since I was little. But I've just been like pushing my body, like getting the highest scores at F45, running marathons.
Oh,
and,
you're competitive.
I'm just, I'm nuts. My mind is too ahead of my body. So, and I feel like you can understand that, it being competitive and all of that. So now I'm just like, I got to a point where like I haven't been doing anything, just trying to be super good, just focus on healing it up. So next year, hopefully I'll be good.
Take care of your body.
Yeah, so it's a struggle. It's in the 30s. It's all downhill.
Oh my God. I know people used to be like, wait till you're 30. I'm like, shut up, I'm fine. And then now it's like, oh.
Yeah, it's funny when I talk to people, like I do go to the sauna at F45 and cold plunge, and there's all kinds of different people. And usually there's some older people and they're talking about their injuries and how it's like when you're 50s, it's like that. I'm just like, just wait till you're 30, man. But they're like, no, you don't understand. I'm just like, honestly, I look young. I'm only 30, but my body is like, it's like the body of a 50-year-old.
Oh, I mean, yeah, you're about to have some major surgeries. And like, one of the things is it took so long. So I had hip surgery and they had to shave down the lip of my acetabellum, basically where my femur is. And they had to put anchors in there and everything. It's kind of like getting road rash on a bone.
Ooh.
So, and like there's a lot of parasympathetic nerves in the periosteum. So like the top layer of your bone, and it takes forever to heal. I mean, bone grows really slow. And yeah, it hurt. It's still, so one of the other things, and I'm not sure how this will affect you, is in order to work on my shoulder, in order to work on because I've had shoulder surgery too.
What happened to it?
I tore. It's here. Yeah, I tore my my labrum throwing a javelin.
Oof. Okay.
Yeah, and then I tore my labrum here and had some bone spurs in my hip as well. But what happens when they have to get into that joint? In order to get in there, they got to basically dislocate your joint a little bit. And when they are done with it, you know how if you dislocate something, it easily dislocates after that?
Like this.
Yeah. Oh!
Oh, you thought that's all the other injuries I had? I got more.
Watch this. Oh my God. It's like Mr. Potato Head over here, just like popping things out. But they'll over tighten the joint to make sure it stays in. So then what that'll do is that will shift your body a little bit. So my right hip is over tightened and it kind of like throws things off. And then my SI joint. So, I mean, you'll be fine. You'll be fine.
Yeah. Thank you for reassuring me.
It got better.
I'm so excited.
It got better. You know what I started doing actually is Pilates.
Oh, okay.
It has helped me so much, and it's really humbling. And I went through about 2 or 3 times a week, and so. The other story that people like to jump on is like I used to have fake boobs and then my body just like did not like them. And I started getting symptoms of like lupus. I got tested for MS because it started going numb and everything.
Oh,
Yeah, I gained so much weight, depression, my hair stopped growing, I lost all the color, things started dislocating and breaking, I was getting migraines. I would be swinging a kettlebell and I sneeze and my rib popped out in the back. Like
This is all from the surgery?
Well, no, but we didn't know. What the internet calls it is breast implant illness, but Big Pharma is, of course, not gonna point or acknowledge that because it's such a lucrative industry. And I mean, they were fun while they lasted, but it was just like, I didn't know. I was just getting a chronic autoimmune response. And it's a foreign body. I mean, they weren't leaking or anything, but it's a foreign body in there. And I have cousins and friends who have them and they're fine. But I can show you the picture. As soon as I took them out, like, pimples on my face healed right away that weren't going in my hair. Like I had color, like all the swelling went down. I had like a really bad tremor. But I just literally went from being always one of the most in shape people in the room to just like this blob of like, my husband, who was my boyfriend at the time, needs to drive me places because the sun is giving me such a bad headache that I'm feeling faint. And like, I can only do one thing a day.
He's a real one.
I know. He's so
good. With you too today.
Yeah, he's awesome. But yeah, and when I would do art markets, I literally just couldn't do them. I would go home and I would just pass out. I would be so tired. My feet would hurt. I would hurt standing. And yeah, it took a lot of Pilates basically for the rehab of me realizing that like internal rotators, like the muscles of my feet were weak and like I couldn't jog because I was heavy and like it just hurt my ankles and all this stuff. And thankfully, like literally Pilates has like saved my body biomechanics. Wow. Yeah, I will swear by it. Like it's amazing. It's a little hard for people with tight hamstrings.
yeah. I've done it before.
Oh, you have?
I went to Pilates Ocala.
That's where I go.
Oh, that's where you go.
Yeah,
we did a video with them for Hawaii Verse, like in 2021 or 2022 when they still had long hair. We met the owner. What's her name?
Chelsea.
I think so.
Chelsea. Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah.
It's
Chelsea,
okay.
I don't know.
Tall.
Blonde or?
She could be blonde. She got ripped arms. Maybe.
Probably. It's probably her. Yeah, sorry. It was
it's okay.
Ago. Yeah.
You were too focused on like getting your Pilates. Yeah.
But I'm pretty flexible. So it's weird that I
think you should go back.
Yeah, because I mean like.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh, who said that your hamstrings are that tight? That's impressive.
If that's tight, then imagine what I can do if they're loose.
Wow, you can Olympics, here we go. Wow.
Yeah. I'm probably cheerleading after this. Yeah, but that's something that I'm just trying to focus on, just rolling out and stretching more.
Yeah.
Maybe even doing yoga.
Yeah.
All kind of different, more dynamic things that we don't really do as we get older. You know, I just feel like we even stretching, like we don't stretch enough.
I know.
You know?
Okay, stretch break after this.
Yeah, stretch break.
Oh, I just felt my back crack.
Yeah, my shoulder pops every time. I don't know if you feel it.
Hey, don't kiss
that. It's actually not that bad right now.
Oh,
usually it's like a louder one.
Oh.
But yeah, so this is don't turn 30, people. That's what we're saying. That's the lesson.
Eat your vegetables and drink your milk.
Yeah, no, but for real, just like
take care.
What they're all adults say, you know, when we're young, just like take care of your body now, listen to your body, all that stuff. It's true.
It is, true. And I think we definitely pushed it. There was that like pain is good. It means you're still alive. Like thought process, especially when we were like in high school in the sports, and it's what's his name? You know, do you know who Ronnie Coleman is?
Yes.
The lifter.
Or lifter.
Yeah, bodybuilder.
The big black guy.
Yeah. He lost the use of his legs because he was just like lifting so heavy so much. So I mean, and you look at like my friend Lima, like this girl has had neck surgery. Like she's blown her knee out a couple times. Like, yeah, that girl.
Yeah. But the things that these professional athletes do to themselves.
Yeah.
That's why, you know, there's a lot of depression post career and all these other injuries,
really heavy,
CTE stuff, in football. And so it's crazy. It's crazy what we do to our body. Especially talking about nutrition and just health, just the things that we put into our bodies, poison. I mean, if we still do it, and I still eat an Oreo here and there, even though it's the most unhealthy snack on the market.
Wait, what did you say?
Oreo.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I actually don't like Oreos.
We have Oreos in the back.
I ate too much at a camping trip once and I threw it all up. Never again.
Yeah, I don't really eat that stuff anymore. I rather have like fruits and stuff. But I love ice cream and whatever.
Oh, nice.
Oh, no, don't give me too much credit. I like fruits because I like fruits. I'm not eating it to be healthy.
Maybe it's a Portuguese thing. My husband, like, he can eat acai and like mangoes and everything.
Yeah, I love
all day, every day. It gives me sore stomach.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, maybe it's just like that Portuguese, Brazilian thing.
Yeah. And even if it does give me a sore stomach, I just do it and just take care of it later and deal with the consequences. The other week, my girlfriend and I we go on Costco trips, so we got this huge bag of oranges. We're like, should we get this? It's just between you and I. And like, yeah, we'll finish. So she got home and she cut all of it and like that and pineapples. So we've had it for a long time. And at some point, she was gone for a trip and I had it. And she put in like these reusable bags and I ate some. There's like white, it's kind of like mush and whatever. And I was like, I ate a bunch and I was like eating around it. And I texted her because she was on a trip and I was like, hey, I finished the oranges, but I didn't eat the rest because they're all like mushy and like had the stuff, but they didn't have mold on it. So I think that was good. And she's like, babe, that white stuff is mold. I thought it was just like, I don't know what it was, but because it wasn't like green, like the kind of mold you see, I was just like, oh, I don't know. So
and you were fine?
Oh no, I like my stomach was sore like maybe an hour after, 30 minutes to an hour after that. But I didn't know for the rest of the day because I was like, that's weird. My stomach was sore. I didn't think it was the oranges. I was just like, what did I eat today? I was like, I don't think I ate anything crazy. And then like later on when I was talking to her, she was like, yeah, that's probably why.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so that's also me. So injuries and doing stuff like
moldy oranges.
Yeah.
How are you still alive?
I don't know. I'm very resilient. Yeah. But she had this chia seed pudding that she made a while in her fridge, and recently I was like, oh, I should go eat it. And I saw mold on it and I didn't eat it and I threw it away and I texted her, hey, I didn't eat the mold.
Oh,
so I learned.
I'm so proud of you too.
Thank you. Yeah.
I'm actually a very picky eater. So if anything has like possibly being old, I can't. It drives my parents nuts. But yeah, I can't. I think I shouldn't say this. I was at a very popular local restaurant when I was younger, and they gave me milk, and it was all like the kind like cottage cheese inside and stuff. And ever since then, I whenever I get drinks at restaurants, I'm kind of like I have to make sure that it's okay, and just anything old. I think I got scarred from that.
Yeah, that happens. I remember eating coleslaw once from like KFC when I was young, and it just didn't taste good. And
you can't really tell by looking at it too, because it looks already.
Yeah, but I don't know if it was just like that batch or just like I just didn't like it. But yeah, it just made me nauseous, and so yeah, I don't really eat coleslaw. But everything else I pretty much eat. I'm not a picky eater.
Oh my God.
Yeah. My thing is I don't like to waste.
Yeah.
So
me too.
I will force myself to eat something, whether it's good or bad.
Yeah.
Or I'm full or not full. So that's my toxic trait.
No, I think that my dad and my parents are like that, because my dad, like his household is very much like you clean the plate, and that's how I try to be, as much as possible without getting a sore stomach.
Yeah. No, I'm trying to get better at not forcing myself to finish stuff.
Okay. Yeah.
Because I'm bad at leftovers, so I just feel like if I don't eat it now, I'm not gonna get to the leftovers. So that's why I say I don't eat leftovers, and I just force myself to eat it. But I'm trying to learn to like just save it, and
it saves money too, kind of.
Yeah. I don't know. I probably eat out more than I don't cook ever.
Oh, I'm terrible too. So. I put it on my business card too, because it's like you're feeding the artists.
Everything's a business expense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. So date night. Oh yeah, we talked about business.
Yep.
Bing.
5% cash back.
Getting back to you now. This good conversation. We're loving it, but the people came for you. I want to know about your art career before we get into our social media questions and take a shishi break, because the shishi meter is rising right now.
I'm drinking the tea. Yeah.
So yeah, tell us the story of like how you got into art and became Aloha De Mele. We know a little bit about it, injury, 2017, all that stuff, but let's hear the full story.
I was bored. I was on drugs because I just had hip surgery. And I guess my mind was free and I just was like, I'm gonna doodle. And I saw things online at first, like that I wanted. They were like $400 for this, like it's like a pink wave from this place called Z Gallery. And I was like, I'll just draw something I want. And I wanted things that had a little bit of like a Hawaii feel to them, and nothing really like had that. So I just draw it myself, or it was really nice. I would just sit there between personal training sessions or whatever and just kind of doodle on my iPad. I was also going through a really hard time. That was, around the time when I had like the fake boobs and like depression, and just I was in a really bad relationship in Chicago, and just like it was just something I did for fun. I didn't do it a lot. And then when I moved home, I decided to show my landlord's wife, who's an artist. She's like, that's actually really like, oh my God, you drew that? And I was like, yeah. And she showed her son, who owns like a surfboard company, and was like, oh my God, that's amazing. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, whatever. Because in my mind, I was always like, no, I'm fitness, wellness, this can't be anything else.
You kind of put yourself in a box.
Yeah. Yeah. And so like, I was still like, oh, whatever. And then when I went to Sensei, I had shown somebody, and they were like, you should maybe try and sell that at the Nutty Art Center. So I was like, okay. So I ordered some prints online, and I got them in, and like, you're not supposed to leave them in the car. So I brought them into the workroom, and I just put them there, and like all the ladies swarmed her like, oh my God, wait, can I get this for my daughter? Can I get this, and this? Like, this is amazing. And this is like around 2019. I was like, oh, okay. So I guess it's cool. So yeah, maybe I'll try and sell it there. And then, oh my God, literally craziest week of my life. So March, it was like I turned 20 or 29, I think 28, on like Saturday, got engaged on Sunday, or was it the other way around? One of the two. Got my ring, got back, got fired on Tuesday, got married on Friday. And then the world shut down the next Monday.
Wait. You got engaged and then married like 4 days after?
So
rewind.
I know. So I was with him for a while. I mean, I was with my husband and I, we never, okay. I was his personal trainer.
Oh, okay.
That's how I met my husband.
Nice. Cool story.
Yeah, I couldn't.
That's a fantasy for some men.
It's when he came in, and I thought his voice did not match what I thought he looked like. And he came in, and I was like, he's got cheekbones. He's this Brazilian guy. And then at the end of our like assessment, he did like the, and I was like, oh.
He's from Brazil?
Yeah, he's from Brazil. Okay. He's from Rio de Janeiro.
What's his name?
Marco.
Okay,
yeah. Cool. So I'm like getting giddy talking about it. But and like, but he didn't get it. I was like giving him free sessions. Like I was helping him stretch out. I was like, oh my God, meet my dog Mele. And he just didn't get it. So finally I had to ask him out and just whatever. And the rest is history. I moved to Hawaii, then he moved here because his green card was expiring.
Oh, wait, where'd you meet?
Oh, in Chicago.
Okay.
So he had a really bad shoulder because he's a swimmer.
Okay.
And our chiropractor, who initially tried to set us up before, could never give each other our names because the doctor-patient confidentiality.
Oh, okay.
And he's like, I have this guy that, maybe can show him how to properly lift. And it was after talking to Marco when I first met him. I was like, oh my God, this is the guy that he wanted to set me up with, but it just never happened because Marco never goes to his doctor's appointments.
No tea, no shade.
But I'm supposed to be talking about art, right?
No, but I reversed to this. I played the reverse Uno card. So continue.
Yeah. So we got married because he was gonna get deported.
Oh, okay.
And I didn't want him to get deported. And it wasn't in like a bad way, like, oh my God, 90 Day Fiance. Like, I mean, we're still together. Like, I love him more and more every day. So it worked out. I'm really lucky that it worked out. But so what happened was when I got fired, I completely freaked out because you can't be someone's sponsor if you don't have a job. And I'm freaking out. I'm like, I have no income. Like, somebody needs to be the joint sponsor now, because now if we get married, like, I don't have like salary to show, because you have to show you can support them if they don't get a job.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So that was why I was like completely freaking out. I mean, about getting fired. And he was trying not to freak out. We were all just freaking out. And we were like, let's I don't know how we decided to like get married. I think it was like he had told my parents, like, and then we came back to Oahu to get the ring because I wanted a ring. And it was going to be just like an engagement party later that week. Well, then, okay, so yeah, I got fired on Tuesday. And then like Friday, I was like, okay, this is on Lanai. Let's have an engagement party. Let's invite all my former coworkers, because now they're former. It's really funny. My birthday was like the Monday before. And when they came to the engagement party, they had all filled out a birthday card that they never got to give me because I had gotten fired before the work. They're like, we're so happy you're here. But anyways.
So much going on.
But then we found out like Manele, one of the hotels there had a notary, and you have to get your certificate notarized and everything. I was like, okay, well then we'll just... And then our meditation specialist just happened to be ordained. I was like, okay, let's get married at the beach. So we got married at the beach on Friday in like a bikini. And yeah, and then that was Friday the 13th in March 2020. Then Saturday, Sunday, and then the next Monday, everything just shut down because of COVID.
That is a crazy week.
Yeah. Oh my God. But how did I turn to Aloha De Mele? Oh yeah. And so we were stuck on Lanai, and I just started drawing and drawing.
For how long?
March till June, July.
Oh, so the whole thing, because I got stuck on Big Island from March to around that time.
Yeah.
Because all the flights couldn't go, right?
Yeah. And and technically they couldn't kick me out of my employee housing because of the whole stay-at-home order thing.
Oh, okay. So they had to keep paying for you to be there.
Yeah.
But you guys were together.
Yeah.
So
we were together.
If you guys were apart, that would have sucked.
That would have sucked.
Yeah.
And we had my dog too.
Yeah. And
it was really beautiful because there's like I could literally go to the beach and I wouldn't see anybody. And it's something that'll probably never happen again. But I'm very lucky. And just during that time, I was like, I'm just going to draw. I'm going to draw this for fun, all these. I had an Instagram that was originally my fitness Instagram. And I just changed it to Aloha De Mele. And I was like, I'm just going to start posting things. And they started catching on. And then when I moved home, a few stores reached out and was like, do you want to sell this here? And then I did a farmer's market. And then Foodland started asking for my cards. And then McKenna Maduli asked me to be on her show by the end of that year. And I was like, okay, I guess like I'm doing art. This is cool. And it literally just it just went nuts. I'm not nuts. I don't know how to. It was crazy. Like
it was a lot going on.
It was a lot,
and yeah,
I started getting a bunch of orders, people wanting to work with me and collaborate, and I feel really bad because I have no idea how to collaborate as an artist. I'm like, how many times are you allowed to tell me to change something? Like,
what's the rate?
I didn't feel like the identity crisis is real. And I still kind of struggle with it a little bit because not to put artists in a box, but I've noticed a common type of personality with a lot of the creatives that I meet.
Yeah, they're super weird.
Yeah. We're both laughing like, oh.
Yeah, it's like the Spider-Man meme pointing at each other.
Yeah. But like I've been told on multiple occasions I'm actually very intimidating, which I understand.
It's the tittle bun.
It may be. I think it might also be I just have like massive shoulders too. But I come off intimidating. I'm very competitive. I'm not free flowing. Like it's my personality has always been one of the
because you come from an athletic background.
Yeah, and then I made it my career working with athletes and special populations and everything. And all of a sudden, these seemingly very happy, chill people were like, come to us. I'm like, how are you guys so chill? I'm like, I actually have like really bad anxiety. So as a little known fact, I think not a lot of people, actually nobody really knows. So now that Aloha De Mele has gotten really big, I've had to start going to therapy again. Like I did talk therapy for years and years. But I couldn't handle it. I was freaking out. You know, as you would know, and it actually really helped me when you said this. Like cyberbullying sucks. But I remember you said like I can handle it. Like, do you remember when you said that?
I said something like I'm happy that it's happening to me because I know I can handle it. Like I wouldn't want it to happen to anybody else.
Yeah.
Because if they were in my position, some people, you know, they may have done something.
Yeah. And
worse.
it's for you to say that was very insightful. And I remember watching that and I was like, okay, I can handle this. Like, and then also it was kind of like, well, I shouldn't feel bad. Look at what Kamaka gets. Like, you know, and or other people. I actually talked to my friend Elima McFarland and I was like, I don't know how you do this. She's like, I don't either.
That sounds like her.
Because it's but yeah, I had to start going to therapy because
that's good. That's good that you found help.
Yeah, because I was getting so angry at everybody and at myself, and like I like didn't want to draw anymore. I was like, this is like dumb. Like no matter what I do, this is gonna pop up here and this and that, and so.
Yeah, there's just so many bored people looking for things to,
and then nobody can be happy.
Yeah, and you just have to accept it.
Yeah, I mean, was it not nobody? Yeah. Some people just can't be happy.
Yeah,
that's what it was.
That's why I see stuff like that on social media. I'm just like, I just feel bad, and I'm just like, I get annoyed. So like I see comments, a lot of it like, oh, thankfully, you know, in the last couple of months, it's been not about me. It's just, but every guest, no matter what it is, a certain topic, there's always going to be people like, the smallest things. Even if it's about sharks with my coots and it's like, oh, you use a tiger head, a great white pick instead of a tiger, shark pick. And this is about tigers, like all the little things, or to like Kanu Sai's episode with all the politics stuff.
Yeah.
If it's not coming from Hawaii, our own people, it's coming from outside. Like, you just cry babies. Like,
why you mad?
So it's just like, I just see it. I'm just like, everyone's so annoyed. And I just,
and what scared me is, and scares me now, is if somebody will claim something and it's a complete lie, it doesn't matter if it's a complete lie. People just latch onto it and just blow it out. And that kind of happened to me. And I like literally did not eat for 3 days.
Wow.
Like I freaked out. My parents are worried about me. My husband, my poor husband, he like shares my anxiety. I try not to.
Shared trauma, that's how you get close.
But I mean, my workers were worried about me. Like, and I eventually sort of got over it. But it really kind of took the fun out of everything. Now so just what we've been working on is focusing again just on like me and my stuff and the noise, no matter what it comes from. This person said this or that, and it's just, and it's been helping. It doesn't always stay like this. Sometimes I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
But
well, I mean, the same with growth, right? It's not linear. It's like this.
Yeah. And but when just know that when you said that, it did help somebody. It helps me.
I'm so happy. Yeah.
And so Aloha, it hasn't always been fun. But I'm really grateful. I would have never wanted it to happen any other way. I'm like never want to complain that I got to the size that I am now. But I think a really common misconception is it is a business. And even though it is art, and I just keep trying to stay in touch with that fun feeling that I felt like when I finished something for the first time, like, oh, this is really cool. Like, I'm proud of this. But it is, in order to survive, you have to run it sort of as a business. And
totally. This is a business.
Yeah.
As much as it's just like a fun passion project, it's a business.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's like that stigma where like, don't be a sellout, you know, just especially with artists and all that.
We get that.
I know. Yeah. It's just like, right, you don't have to love the game. You got to play it a little bit to survive.
Totally. Yeah. Don't hate the player, hate the game.
Yeah. I mean, you can hate the, Yeah.
Yeah. No, I resonate with a lot of what you're saying. I just think that I'm lucky enough that I have always been able to self-soothe and like have the appropriate ways to I guess express myself, get my feelings out, come to a place where I am happy. And I think that's partly because I'm a positive person where even though bad things happen, I know it's going to be good. Like where I was saying, I can handle it. And I think like all the social media stuff, it's just annoying to me. Like I don't really get bothered by stuff. I tell people this all the time. I'm like the Hulk where it's like, you know how he doesn't get angry because he's always angry.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I am. It's like, I see these things on social media and I don't interact with them rarely ever, but I'm just like, I get annoyed by it. It's just like, I see these comments from people, not just my posts, like everything, like other people's posts. I'm just like, why? Like, why are you guys doing this? Like, people are just...
You didn't need to say this. Like
they're like, or even when they're like, oh, you should talk about this on the podcast. You should have all this and have a whole long list. I'm like, just start your own podcast. Yeah. This is my stuff. Like, well, we're so focused on other people's lives and telling other people what to do. And I'm just like, live your life. Like, I don't care. Like, I would prefer people to live very differently. I would prefer them to live the way I live, but of course that's not going to happen. So I think it's just people not accepting things as it is and trying to control all the different aspects of life. But yeah, for you, like blowing up and then having all these things very overwhelming and like stuff that as a new entrepreneur, because I don't come from a business background, I had to seek so much help with my other business partners, friends. Yeah, exactly. Like everything I had, that's something I'm very proud of. Is
and
like,
you should be.
I got all of this on my own, not by myself, but like through my own like hard work. Like I didn't have anything handed to me.
Yeah.
So I just feel like, knowing where I come from, knowing my foundation, that it's solid, and believing in myself, being confident in myself, like no matter what anybody says or, you know, tries to come at me, like I know my truth, you know. I think the people believing lies, it becomes truth to them, and whatever they want to do, that's on them. Like whatever you do, just you go live that reality over there. I'm gonna live mine. So that's something that just helps me get through it. And also just like, I don't think it's about turning off the noise. It's just learning how to live with the noise.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's the same as like positive and bad things. It's not about like putting the shutters on and like not ignoring all the bad. It's just accepting it as part of life. Yeah. But knowing that there are more positive things than there are bad things.
One other few interactions that have also helped me is I've talked to a few people. So I started paddling.
You just did the States, right?
Yeah, and then we're doing distance now. Awesome. And I started paddling to have something completely separate from Aloha De Mele, and something that I didn't have. I mean, I expected myself to work hard at it, but expectations to leave the team to do nothing, I was just like, I just needed something where I'm like ground zero and I'm a newbie and nobody's expecting anything from me. And just talk, and it gets me out of the house. Talking to people, and I've noticed, yes, people notice the bad and it's very loud, especially on social media, but people also notice the good. And they notice things that you think you only notice, but they're like, hey, I noticed. And it's like, I have so many times wanted to change my art style because I know it's quicker, it translates, it can go on more merchandise, it's easier to print and all this. But then there's a few times people are like, I like how you've held true to like this slower, like I can't be busting out lays like every other month anymore. It's just, it's hard. And like, it was really nice that other people also notice the good things, but it doesn't get spoken about on like social media necessarily. So talking to people in person and be like, oh, I've noticed like you've been doing this and working really, it's just a lot of, so everybody who comes to me at a market,
keep doing that. Yeah, I totally agree. And that's something that actually helped me. So at the peak of all the hate that we were getting from the loud minority.
Yes.
it annoyed me. It's kind of just like, I'm doing this thing, it's good, and like people are just hating on, like, what's the point? Like, that thing. But the thing that made it all right was anytime I go out, and sometimes during that point I would kind of be hesitant to go out because I'm just like, oh, I don't want people to like hate on me.
Yeah.
Because like I get recognized like 9 out of 10 times I leave the house.
Yeah.
Just for a podcast, which is crazy. But so I would go out, and the only things I hear are positive things. Nobody ever says, or hasn't until this point, said anything bad to me. Like even when I'd be traveling, I'm just like, oh man, hope people are gonna recognize me. Old lady in the back of me sitting on the plane, like, hey boy, like keep doing what you do. Like I love what you do. Keep it up. No, don't listen to the other people coming out of the stuff. Lady on the wheelchair is like, oh, you don't keep it low. Yeah, I love you. Da, 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 da. Let's get a picture. And then like, so all those interactions, and it would continue on. Like every time in person, it's like, hey, I love what you do. And it's always a thank you, right? Thank you for what you're doing. And other ones like, hey, I saw you've been getting like this heat on the clip, but like I think about that too. I never said. I'm too scared to say it. So a lot of it is that. So it was never anything negative. So I'm just like, so if I was getting this hate from this community online and also in person, then that would have been bad. That would have been like, oh man, maybe I have to reconsider some things. Maybe I have to change some things. But even as loud as the noise on social media was, the interactions in person were so positive and helpful. And that's also what helped me. So those things are very good. So people keep doing that.
Oh my gosh. That is so true. I'm going to hold on to that when I start getting overwhelmed again.
Yeah. Because nobody says bad things in person because they're scared.
Yeah. No, the keyboard warriors, man.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh man. It's okay.
Yeah. Have you ever has anybody ever come up to you and said something negative to you? Okay, maybe.
But it was more about like, I don't like how big your logo is on this hat. Okay, and I was Okay. Well,
too bad.
Sorry.
That's whatever. That's a subjective thing.
Yeah, but not just like nothing like they would say on social media.
Yeah, exactly. So I think, realizing certain things is just like, these negative comments are coming from people with very little followers, fake profiles, very unhappy people in life, just trying to, get their opinion out. Because you have a platform. We have platforms. Yeah. They don't. So they want their voice to be heard. Yeah. So it comes down to just people wanting to be heard. And
this is also the reason I don't put Aloha De Mele bumper stickers on my truck. Because I don't want people to know it's me in case I cut you off. I'm sorry.
I don't think I really cut people off. I mean, at least from the shaka.
I know. I mean, just in case I cut. I'm nice.
Okay.
I just like threw myself under the bus.
Yeah, that's funny. Well, great topic of conversation. I just realized you gotta get out at a certain point, right?
Okay,
yeah. So let's take a quick shishi break. Okay. And I gotta go, and then we'll be right back. What if we told you the next 3 times you fill your tank, you could save money? Well, at Texaco in Hawaii, it's true. You can get $1 off per gallon on your next 3 visits when you download the Texaco app and join Texaco Rewards. Earn points on every fuel transaction and qualifying in-store purchases at participating Texaco stations. Download the app and join to get started today. Visit TexacoHawaii.com for details. All right, we're back from a quick shishi break. Let's get right into the social media fan questions. Okay. First questions, I had to put her at the top. Our girl Leolani.
Oh my God.
The famous Leolani, the Mu'umu'u queen.
My TikTok lady girl.
Yes. I wonder if that's where I saw you first.
Maybe. Thanks, Leolani.
The big mural, right? That was her.
Oh, yeah. Whereas her grandpa would say she got a big head now.
That's funny. Yeah, because she's friends with my sister. Mm-hmm. So I wonder if I started following her and then I saw that, then I started seeing your stuff.
Maybe.
I think that's how it was. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Leolani.
Okay. All right. So first question comes from Leolani. She says, what's something no one tells you about being an artist?
Ooh. I don't know. You're not as bored, and it's not as hippie and bored as I thought it was going to be. I thought I was gonna be just like in the bushes, literally painting and being inspired, but I am so busy. I had no idea it was gonna be like this. I thought it was gonna be super chill.
Well, that's because you have to also run the business.
That is true. That is very true.
So if you had like a manager, do you have a manager?
No, I had one. It ended really badly.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I have a studio. But yeah, no. Maybe if I had a manager, but as of right now, it's not as chill as I thought it was gonna be.
Yeah. I just recently got a manager in the last couple of months. Shout out to Josh, and it's so nice. He just does all the sponsorship stuff. I just send emails his way, and like, because I didn't like doing all like jumping on meetings and like talking about rates and stuff. I don't like talking about money. So now he just handles that. So it's so awesome.
Oh, maybe
maybe if you can find the right person.
Yeah, I am kind of in search of somebody to help me.
Yeah. And eventually, if I want somebody to just run all of this, he produces it, Jordan, but the other JT. But
the other JT.
I was just thinking this one would be so good if I just had like a podcast manager or something that they just like do everything. I show up, do the talking, they handle everything else. So
that's like more efficient.
That'd be the goal. And then if you could get to the point where you're just drawing, showing up at these events, like that's the goal, right?
I really want to. Hopefully, if anybody knows anybody, I am open. I really am.
Cool.
Yeah.
If I run across anybody, I'll let you know that I think might be a good fit. Okay. She also has 2 more questions, and because it's Leolani, we'll get for it. What was an unreal moment you've experienced as an artist you never thought possible?
I never thought I would be on the cover of Midweek for art.
Congrats.
It was weird, but definitely the cover of Midweek was pretty unreal because it came out the day I got back from doing my first pop-up in Japan. So, yeah.
Do you have a big following in Japan?
I have 8. I don't know what's considered big.
Oh, okay. Or you have a following.
I have people. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, cool. It was really cool. People came to Osaka with prints that they had bought for me to sign. Like they bought so prior. Cool. So
makes you feel good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I know Jack goes there a lot.
Yeah. Jack. Yeah. I think Jack probably has a bigger one than me because he was doing it longer. But this was my first like break into it.
Nice. So, cool. Yeah. I love how I'm fans of all of you, and it's cool that you all have very distinct style. Yeah. So when I'm driving or I go somewhere and I see some sort of art, I'm like, oh, that's Char.
Oh yeah, like that's Jack back there. Jack.
Yeah, that's Jack. Yeah. And then I see, like, I was at the convention center. I like went to the bathroom, like, that's Aloha De Mele. Yeah, so it's so cool that it's all these recognizable stuff. Yeah. Even Kamea, I haven't met Kamea, but I know which ones are Kamea.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Okay. Oh. And last question comes from Leolani. This is Social Media Fan Questions presented by Leolani. What would you tell your younger self?
You can be more than just one thing. Yeah.
That's very true. You don't have to just be in one athletic box.
Yeah.
That's great. You had that ready. Yeah. Okay, next question comes from Marco G. Madeira. Is that Marco?
It's my husband.
Oh, okay. Madeira.
Madeira.
Yeah, Madeira.
Yeah.
How to balance the business side of things and being creative?
It's funny. Somebody who I respect told me I should start smoking weed whenever I draw. But I'm still figuring that out.
The smoking weed part or the drawing?
No, I know how to do that already. No. The business and creative side, I think what I have found is I always, and maybe this is just how my brain works, is I always have, in terms of creative, multiple, and these don't mean projects with other people, but I mean multiple pieces and things I'm working on, because certain pieces, if I'm dealing with this really intense business thing, I don't have the brain power to just completely dive and shift, because I feel like it is a completely opposite side of my head when I do go into art and just want to focus and let everything kind of flow out. That it's not as demanding, so I'll work on this simpler piece. But then when the business side is kind of like in a lull, I'll be like, okay, I can work on the super complex like pole. And that's just kind of how I just have a lot of contingency plans, just going back and forth with a lot of them. And I have noticed when I do collaborate with other brands and people, they tend to so the way that my business is set up is I've noticed is a little different from some other artists. I think there's another one, Nick Kuchar, who kind of is the most similar to mine. Is I make most of my income off of selling things that I draw from myself and do through prints and put on merchandise. And a lot of people, for example, like Shar from Punky Aloha, she works with brands and she's like collaborating with everybody and just creating these like really great custom pieces. And so that means I don't really have to listen to anybody as much. I can kind of draw whatever I want.
You have more freedom.
Yeah. But when I do, for example, I'm working with a nonprofit right now, and they're like, no, they want this color. It needs to be in this color scheme. So it pushes me out of my comfort zone. And I think my art does evolve every time I do that. For example, I worked with Hurley and they made me work with neon colors. And I was like, ugh. But now it's like, okay, I'm more open to like colored backgrounds. I used to only do white. So it meets in the middle there. And then also just having multiple things that I can pull from, whatever suits me best.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. That's a good answer. It's also hard to find that balance.
Yeah.
Okay. And then he also says, make sure you bring home the milk and can I borrow $20?
What?
I'm just joking.
Oh my God, you got me so good. I was like, no, he didn't.
I say that because the next question comes from Galen _ This person says, how does she like her milk and cheese? LOL, asking for those in the back with lactose.
Oh my God. I like my cheese aged and dry. Because you can eat, you were saying that you like eat ice cream and everything.
Yeah.
I was secretly really jealous on the inside.
Oh, are you lactose?
I'm very lactose.
Oh, okay.
And yeah,
I thought it was just because you had that bad experience. But...
No, I can't. But I take lactate pills like there's no tomorrow.
Ice cream not that good. You're not missing out on anything.
I haven't had real ice cream since I was like 22.
Yeah, no. Ice cream sucks. Who cares about ice cream? Yeah. But there are actually a lot of alternatives these days.
There are.
Yeah.
There are.
Like non-dairy options.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's pretty good.
Whenever a Sato family has a non-dairy option, I'm all about it.
You know, Thrills. You've been to Thrills?
No.
Across of Ala Moana? No. They're not. They have non-dairy options. I think they're non-dairy soft serve.
Ooh.
They're super good.
Okay, I'm down.
So go check them out. Thrills. Maybe a little date night. Okay. Yeah. Next question comes from Sugar Caddy _ Hi. This person says, is it Jenny or JT? LOL.
JT. I mean, Jenny if I'm in trouble. Or I'm filling out my tax form.
The government name.
I know, right? Yeah. But everybody calls me JT since 6th grade.
Okay, so JT. JT it is. JT from the block of Pearl City.
Yeah.
All right. Tommy _ Tsunami. There's a bunch of eyes. What types of common issues do you run into with being a small business owner?
Doing everything yourself. Well, wearing multiple hats. And a lot of the forums online that I've found, and only recently has it been getting better, have all been how to help manage things, like manage your employees better, or etc. Have been more for like larger companies and stuff. And so I'm sorry, what was the question again? I completely zoned out.
Common issues do you run into being a small business owner?
It's that and just fine, and then trying to balancing out growth and income at the same time. That one is
how much do you allocate?
And it's scary.
Yeah, I'm at that point too. I was trying to figure out, what do I do? Do I invest? Do I invest in this?
Yeah.
Do I buy
it's
this?
A good problem to have.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
but it's still scary.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, at least we're not like, how do we pay for rent?
Yes.
Or how much do I put for rent? No, it's just kind of like,
okay, the next step.
Yeah, but how do we expand? And exactly. I know, I'm just trying to meet with friends and people ask like, what do I do? Yeah. Okay. Next question comes from underscore alakai.e. This person says, what is the best advice you would give? Actually, no, you already said your younger self. So
yeah.
This other one is, what is the greatest lesson you learned about entrepreneurship?
You got to get along with the people around you. And
Especially
my
in Hawaii.
don't shit where you eat, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's I've learned the hard way, and I've seen others learn the hard way. That's what I've learned. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
relationships are everything here.
Yeah. And so that's why I get a little nervous that I come off really intimidating sometimes.
They just watch this and they'll see how friendly you are.
Hopefully.
But don't worry, we'll cut up all the clips where
I'm like,
yeah, you were just like saying something bad. You were kind of like looking like that when you're listening to me or something.
That's that trend, right? Our Gen Z like video editor sent us this, and it's like, just no.
I didn't see that one.
I'll send it to you.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's one trend that I saw recently on TikTok. I'm rarely on TikTok. I just post, but once in a while, I just it'll be a slow morning or something. I'll go on, and I saw this trend where everybody's like, "Give me my money." Have you seen that?
No.
And then so everybody does that, like, "Give me my money," and then so it's like all of us here. And then the last person that goes, they don't know about it. So you're like, you say, "Give me my money," and everybody like claps, and they're really excited, like, "Yeah!" And then the next person says, like, "Give me my money," and everybody's like, "Yeah!"
God, I don't understand these things.
And then the last person goes, and they're like, "Give me my money." They get super into it, and then it's silent. Nobody claps, and they're just like, it's so funny. I just started watching a bunch of them. So these trends, I don't know how they happen, but
I don't get it.
Yeah, they're so classic.
This is why I have Leolani do it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. You can show me that one and I'll show you this other one. But I just thought it was so funny. Yeah. Okay. Next question comes from Hill _Hill_. This person says, your artwork is so inspiring to others. What inspires you?
Others? It sounds really cliche, but Hawaii. But I think for me, it's more Hawaii's people than it is just the fit, which is still beautiful. Just the physical Hawaii. Everything has a story behind it. More often than not, it's a sarcastic story behind all my pieces. Fun fact. But then if you ask me in person, I'll tell you. But it doesn't make a good Instagram post. Why I chose some names. But it is the people of Hawaii and stories and connections. Yeah, it definitely the people of Hawaii.
Awesome. Okay, next question comes from Tori Taboniar. This person says, how do you use your art form / creative projects to impact Hawaii's rich cultural history?
That one I have a hard time with. I struggle with, because sometimes I feel like my art is not native enough. I look at other people and it is a very obvious, this is this indigenous species, this or endemic flower, and they just share, the facts and the story, and I appreciate it because I do learn from that. But I think mine is kind of like, what's the word?
Contemporary.
I guess you could say contemporary. I do make it a point to only, and I mean, it's not that I don't like other races, but I do make it a point that all my models and that I draw and I paint have some sort of Pacifica blood in them, or are mixed from Hawaii and have like a very specific connection to Hawaii, because there's not a lot of representation of that in like the Louvre, for example, in Paris. So that's kind of how I pay my ode to like Hawaii and try to highlight our people. I'll draw men eventually, but right now I've just been drawing women. It's just what I've been wanting to do.
Yeah, and the people that you've been working with, highlighting all these people. We see the murals that you have with Leolani, the other girl. I know she's a model. She's model Mrs. Penina.
She's actually, I love Nina.
Yeah. And then you worked with Maluhia.
Oh my gosh.
That shoot was awesome.
Is amazing.
She's a hammer.
And then Khalees.
Yeah, Khalees. Yeah, again, past podcast guest. And then Kalia as well. So
I'm very lucky they're willing to work with me.
Yeah, but the photos that you guys get from it's so cool.
It's a lot. It's a lot of work.
Yeah, no, it's
wrangling models and lays.
Totally worth it. Yeah, models and lays, the two toughest things to get.
Seriously, it is.
Okay, next question comes from cameo.shima. There's a bunch of O's and A's. So this person says, what's your favorite native plant and why?
Native plant. Okay, so I do. I'm gonna go with the obvious answers. Ohia lehua. It is for multiple reasons. One, like the mo'olelo behind it, how special it is to Hawaii and its association with Tutu Pele, and the plant itself. And this is where like the geeky art part comes in. I really like, especially when there's like hina kind of next to it. I just like the darker feel to it. And it is a very challenging one to draw as well. But it's the pop of red against the dark bark and the darker leaves that I really like. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
It's a very technical answer.
Yeah, no, I love it. I mean, I love the ohia as it roots to the big island, the red ohia. And it's cool that every island has like the different types. Or everybody has their different colors. And you got the yellow one that represents Oahu because of the color and stuff like that. Yeah. All that. So super cool. I would love to get art from all my favorite artists one day. I got this one. This is my first art piece I bought. You guys can't see it on camera, but it's the one I got. Yeah, it's a Mr. Sancho Lee by my friend Kaylin.
Oh.
Yeah, so got plenty lychee.
That's cool. That's an original too.
Yeah, original.
Ooh.
So I'd love to.
You gotta hang it.
Yeah, we're trying to figure it out if we're gonna leave it here, if I'm gonna take it to my future home. Or
I will say, command ships do have really good hooks that don't damage your balls if you do change your mind.
Oh, we gotta talk to Jordan. He owns it. He's the what's it called? Like the leaser.
So if there's holes in the wall, he gets in trouble.
Yeah. Oh wait, no, that's right. I can just do whatever I want because he'll get in trouble. I didn't think about it like that. Oh yeah. So let's.
Is he listening?
He has his headphones.
Quick, I'll go get the hammer. You get the nails.
I never thought about that. Yes, that's a very good point. He will get in trouble, not me.
Yeah.
Okay, last question.
I just realized something. I feel so bad.
What?
I'm so sorry. When Leolani's question, I have a different answer for it.
Oh, wait.
I'm so wrong.
Which one is
the
this?
most surreal moment of my artist career.
Oh,
I completely lied. I'm so sorry. Midweek was great, but we got to see the Queen's quilt in person. That was cool. Yeah. Sorry, I just completely like when I can't believe it's such a surreal thing that I forget about it.
Oh, okay. I honestly forgot that I even asked that question.
Yeah.
Did I ask that question?
Yeah. Like, what was
an unreal moment you've experienced as an artist you never thought possible?
Yeah. And I guess it was unboxing the Queen's quilt.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. We took high resolution scans of it, and I helped Leilani Palace make like fine art prints of it. And,
nice. Yeah. That's pretty cool.
That was really cool.
Wait, what was your answer for this?
Midweek.
The midweek. Oh,
not to bring that down.
Okay. Wow, I almost forgot.
Sorry.
Yeah. No, both can be great.
Yes.
Yeah. Two things can be true at once. Okay, last question comes from _Mrs. ZD. This person says, any fun collabs we should be expecting?
Yes.
You can't say what?
No.
So yes, expect. You don't know what yet.
I will say some of them are with somebody who I have collabed with before, and it's sold out within like 36 hours. So
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll collab on something one day.
Yeah.
And it makes sense.
I mean, we did, but
Yeah. to the podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, mahalo everybody for the social media fan questions. Make sure you leave some for our next guest, and maybe a question will make it on the podcast. All right. So I like to ask all of my guests the same question about aloha, and it's the name of this podcast, Keep It Aloha. So I like to know, in your life, how do you keep it aloha?
I try to keep it as respectful as possible, whether that be respecting somebody else, an organization, or the land, even. Just trying to be as respectful as much as I can be in anything. So,
I mean, that's all we want in Hawaii, right? Is people just be respectful.
Yeah.
That's all we want.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes I'll let my temper get the better of me, and I'll try maybe, but I think for the most part, I do keep it relatively respectful. So,
yeah, you seem so nice. So I don't get all the intimidation and you cutting people off and saying
that wasn't on purpose. I was gonna miss the exit. I use my blinker. I will say
if you use your blinker,
that's respectful. Use your blinker.
Yeah. I just feel like driving is such an interesting thing that I reflect on. I reflect on a lot of things, but
reflect on
because we get upset when people do certain things. They cut off, they're too slow, they're too fast, or whatever. All these different things, and then we forget. Like sometimes, we also do that. Like like, oh, why did that person just like go over all this lane and this or this? You don't know why they just went in front of you, and it doesn't make sense in your head. And eventually, they have to get to that, and you're like, okay, so that's why.
Yeah.
So yeah, I kind of like to, when stuff like that happens, I I observe it, okay, why did that person do it? And I'm just like, they better have a good reason they did it, or I'm going to get upset. And, if they did, like, oh, okay, so that's why they did it. Like, that's why they had to do that really quick or whatever it is. But when sometimes, I don't find that reason, I'm just like, it's so annoying. I just go faster and whatever. I do the thing where, like, if somebody does something to me, I look at them. But a lot of times they don't look. I look into their car and
I look to see if they're like the type of person that I thought they were going to be.
A lot of times it's old people.
Yeah.
A lot of times
sometimes it's just young people. I had my first, the reason why I'm like talking about this is I had my first, I hate to use the word Karen because that's my mother-in-law's name. First Karen incident on the road. And she was like flipping me off like multiple times. And it was so much to the point where I just kind of, I think she got mad because I just started laughing because it was so bad. I was like, why? What is she slowing down to do it and then speed it up again to do it again? I'm just like,
it really bothers you that much. I think about doing that. I don't actually do that. I have a life. I got places to be.
I'm like, dude, you just go. You don't have to flip me off 3 times.
Some people, they're bored with their life.
Yeah. And it was real awkward. I'm just, oh my God.
Yeah, I try to have empathy for people, especially like if, they cut me off because I'm just like, maybe they're not trying to cut me off. They need to get someplace. And
what kind of car do you drive?
I have a Ford Maverick. It's a hybrid.
Okay.
Yeah. Have you seen me cut you off before? No. I'm sorry if I did.
I feel like more people cut me off when I'm driving. I just had a rental last week. When I drive the small cars.
Oh, okay.
In my truck, I feel like I don't get cut off as much.
Oh, it's like a respect thing.
It is.
We talk about respect, right? They're like, I'm going to cut off this big truck, but this little car,
this Camry.
Easy money, yeah.
Yeah, my husband gets cut off all the time.
that could be it. I don't know. Yeah, it's a good point. I'm not sure. We will see. Let us know what you guys think. So what's the future for Aloha De Mele? What are your big goals?
This year we're moving into a huge space.
Oh, nice.
So my current space is like 950 something square feet.
Okay.
This new one will be a little over 3,000.
Oh, nice.
It'll be street facing.
That's way bigger than this.
Yeah. It's gonna be it's big. It's actually gonna have a slight retail aspect to it.
Cool.
So that's like before, if it didn't look nice in there, I'd be like, it's a functioning studio or whatever. Like people will like that, but it actually has to have like nice display stuff. And just diversifying. One of the things, like I love, like I totally respect people who just make a straight living off of art. But I've noticed as the pandemic kind of subsided, people weren't investing as much into just artwork for their homes. And so putting it onto merchandise and other things while still keeping the integrity of the artwork. So trying new products slowly. Yeah. It's a lot harder to design a shirt than I thought it was going to be. Like I thought it would just be like copy paste, but no, it's actually all this typography stuff. Ooh. Yeah.
Interesting.
It's actually pretty hard.
Yeah. I like the bucket hats. Those are really easy. And and towels and stuff like that, right?
The towels, the pareo is always a favorite.
Yeah.
And I almost said the collab, but yeah. But yeah, other stuff too.
Yeah, you can tell me off the podcast.
Yeah.
If you're allowed to.
You can have some.
Oh, okay, cool. Ooh. Is it candy?
I
wasn't joking, but I think I know what it is.
Among other things.
Wow.
That was like the most deadest silence I think I've heard in this room.
That was the only silence we had on 130-something episodes.
My abs hurt.
Ooh, I can't wait. If it is what I think it is, then I can't wait.
Yeah, that'd be so sick.
Okay, well, next question. Moving on. What is my next question? I tried to change it really fast. Next question. Since I'm asking what question, what is a question you wish I asked you?
I think we touched on everything. It's just, I think what I really like about this podcast is there are questions, and I'm super appreciative of people that do ask this. They want to hear just all the success and this, and which is great, and I like hearing that. But I've never been put in a position where I could be like, yeah, I had to start going to therapy because this success was like too much for me. And being able to kind of divulge into that issue, I think when I hear other people talk about it, it makes me feel less alone. And that other people who seemingly are really happy still get, all the gripe on the side and everything, but they find a way to rise above it. So I have appreciated all the questions for that, and being able to talk about also the not so fun side and be able to say it hasn't been all, stars Rainbow and ponies the whole time. Yeah. It's actually sucked a few times, quite a bit.
Yep. So. And that's part of life. You can't appreciate the sunshine without a little rain.
That is true.
Right. So, and I think that's one of my favorite parts about the podcast is how therapeutic it is.
Yeah.
When we come on the podcast, tears are shed, walls are, torn down, and people get vulnerable. There's been so many other guests that talked about therapy, talked about mental health, talked about the struggles. And I love talking about all those things because social media is just a highlight reel, right?
Yeah.
And on this podcast, yes, every episode we cut the clips that we think would do well on social media that highlight certain aspects of a guest's life or a topic. But sitting down for 2 hours talking with somebody, it's hard not to get deep with somebody and talk about some real real stuff. So I think that's one of my favorite parts of podcasting is that we get to just get vulnerable. Yeah.
And talk about our
this life.
Knee surgeries. And
exactly. Yeah. I know, because sometimes people ask what do you talk about? I'm just like, honestly, we kind of just talk about life.
Yeah.
We touch on people's careers and stuff, but majority of the podcast is just talking about life. Like if I have an actor, we talk about acting and stuff, but then we talk about hard things in life, good things in life. So yeah, I think this podcast, even though people think it's just like a cultural podcast, just because those are the most popular clips.
I will say, who did you just...
Dr. Kanusai.
I was watching those. I was like, oh man, he's knowledgeable. I ain't going to be nothing like that. I got a little nervous, actually.
Yeah, but I bet you couldn't draw as good as you, So, everybody got their strengths. And this is just highlighting people's strengths.
Yeah.
But I know, that's one thing that some guests get worried about is that they think I'm going to ask everybody the same questions or talk about the same things. I'm not going to ask you about the overthrow of 1893 and, what annexation is and sovereignty and what does it mean to be Hawaiian. Depends who the guest is. It's all curated, for the guest. So
thanks.
If you are a future guest listening to this, do not worry about that.
He's not going to eat you alive. Don't worry.
I won't. I only want to make my guests look good. I follow the guests and I do my research, so I know okay, I probably won't ask them about these things.
Yeah.
Or they don't talk about it openly or whatever. And when I have my pre-production calls too, I get a little feel of like how they talk. That's why I do those.
Ours was a good pre-production call.
Exactly. Yeah. So I see like, oh, they're more playful. Are they more serious? Are they, so they seem nervous or not? And then like giving you guys the ins and out of this podcasting world, and like the first hour of the podcast is just getting to know each other, and the second half is like you get real deep, and people get a little bit more comfortable. So
yeah,
so that's why I love the long format styles.
Yeah, it helps. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it does help, but not having the time crunch.
Yeah. And also just people stop asking to be on my podcast. So
did you say stop asking?
Stop asking. Yeah. I get so many messages.
I almost messaged you once.
Good thing you didn't.
No, I was just like, do I get to be on Kamaka's podcast ever? Because you mentioned it once. Like, have you ever been on a podcast? And I joking was like, no, nobody lets me on those because I swear too much. And then I was like, I completely ruined my chance of being on this podcast. So when you texted me, I was like, yay.
Yeah, no. I mean, because I've always been a fan, but to me, it's just like the timing. I like to follow people. I like to be like, what am I interested in talking about this? Like, I don't always want to talk about like sovereignty and Hawaiian stuff.
Yeah.
Or I don't always only want to talk about sports. I mean, I do only want to talk about sports all the time.
But you and my husband, we get along so well.
But yeah, once in a while, I'm just like, okay, let's switch it up a little bit and like get this one. And like, I would have reached out to you earlier, but I just had a bunch of artists earlier this year. So it's all timing.
You.
Yeah. So
I'm
for
excited.
people going off of that, like if you're, I don't want to say deserving because I don't want to be the one that
if the fit is right.
Yeah, I'll just say like keep doing your thing. Like don't focus on like just trying to be on a podcast or trying to get some sort of success. Just like keep doing your things, and if it's worthy or if it's, I don't want to use these words like good enough. Like if you're doing something good, people will notice.
Yes.
If you are talented, people will notice. I remember one of my favorite quotes that I always think about is from Life of Walter Mitty. Have you seen that movie with
Stiller?
Ben Stiller?
Yeah.
That was such a good movie. And at the end, he's like looking for this photographer guy, right?
Yeah.
And one of his quotes is, so he took a picture of that tiger or whatever.
It's a snow leopard.
The snow leopard.
Yeah.
And he's like, and he deletes it after.
Yeah.
And then he asks, well, why did you do that? You've been doing it for so long. And he said, well, beautiful things don't ask for attention.
Yeah.
So that's what I feel like is kind of my mindset, is like, keep doing your thing, keep being talented, keep being beautiful, and people will notice it.
Yeah.
Like the snow leopard isn't the one like, hey, everybody, look at me. I'm on this mountain. I'm so beautiful. Take pictures of me. Can I be on your podcast? It's just living its life, doing its thing. And, people will notice it. So something
Carissa Moore has, because I've worked with her nonprofit, More Aloha, and a lot of what she stresses, because when you get to her level, it was, it unfortunately became she either wins or she doesn't. And it's not that she wins. It's like anybody else would be so excited to be anywhere in this lineup of where she finishes or anything. And I remember she would talk, and it really hit home for me because mine was like, how good of a piece I can finish. Is it going to get recognized? Like, how, is this going to solidify me as like an actual artist? Blah, blah, blah. Is to fall in love with the process, and it will naturally come. I'm still working on that. The process, I don't love it all the time, but I think that kind of just sort of meshes with what you just said. Yeah. Well, because it's like the same thing as like the man who loves walking will walk further than the man who loves the destination. Oh, wow. That's fancy. So that's a fancy way of saying, it's about the journey, not the destination. Yeah. Right. And we hear that often. And I feel like, all the things that we do, we're doing it because we love to do it. Yes. We love walking. We love painting. We love podcasting. We're not doing it for, I don't know, some check marks. Yeah. Something like I never got into this because I thought this would be my career and it could sustain me. Like, I don't think maybe that's a goal, like to get into art is like, I need to do this so I can so I can get to a level where this can be my career. Yeah.
But that's not what you love. It's the actual art form, and all of that is what we continue to love. Yeah. So I think that goes along the lines of just, yeah, if you're asking to be on the podcast, you probably shouldn't be on the podcast.
Oh my God. I'm glad I'm here.
Yeah. But again, this is just my mindset. Right. Yeah. Just because I just feel like if people are asking, they're only asking because they want attention.
Yeah.
They want to see the clips. They want their own clips and they want their own video. And I get it for a business sense, because they're like, oh, cool, marketing, whatever.
Yeah.
And I totally get it. A lot of people that were coming up, they're like, hey, I did this. Can I come on? And I'm just like, well, so that's telling me you think this is the peak of what you're gonna do.
Yeah.
This is just the beginning. Go do stuff. And I don't know if people have been noticing, I've been getting older people. There's a lot of people with more experience.
Yeah.
Just because I realized from doing this that I like talking about what you did instead of what you're gonna do.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm just all these young kids coming up and whatever. So I'm so proud of them and super interested in what they're doing, and I'm following along, but just this get experience. We're on this game, this Pokemon game, just keep gaining experience, leveling up, yeah. And then we can go talk stories. So that's just what I'm interested in now.
It is. Somebody told me, and this made me feel better about my regrets that I've had in life, is hindsight is always 20/20. And I think reflecting back on things is really hard to do when you're in the middle of all of it. And I mean, I am in the middle of all of it right now, but I have, I guess now 4.5, 5 years that I can reflect on, that was like that for a little bit.
Yeah.
And so, but yeah.
Star Miss Hawaii 2023 shared that you can't experience something and process it at the same time.
Oh, okay, yeah. That makes me feel a lot better about impulse decisions I've made.
Yeah, so that's kind of what you're saying. When you're in it, when you're in the thick of it, especially with relationships, sometimes you don't know it's so bad. You hear it from all the different angles, right? Friends, families, social media, maybe even sometimes. And you're just like, no, it's all good. And then once you finally get out and you can process and reflect, you're like, wow, that was bad. Right? And it's just because you can't experience something and process it at the same time. Maybe, you can a little bit, but you can't really just same with our injuries, right?
Yeah.
We're going through this thing and we're not really processing the gravity of how bad it's going to be for us in the long run. So I think all these things just make so much sense to me as I get older and I think about it a little bit more.
I get a little creakier.
As I'm processing it instead of experiencing it. Yeah. As I'm experiencing it now and processing it at the same time.
I'm like everything is turning in my brain now. I'm like, oh man. Yeah. I think I've had to learn to forgive myself for some pretty dumb stuff I've done and said. And
if it's before you're 25, it's fine because your brain doesn't fully develop until you're 25. So I don't blame anything people do until after they're 25.
I'm counting I was a pretty annoying 20-year-old. I'm not gonna lie.
No, because so now I'm legit about this. Is when people tell me they do this, always complain about young people. I'm just it's because their brain's not developed. You can't blame them. Their brain is literally not fully developed. That's what I say. I don't get angry at them.
Yeah.
I mean, you could get annoyed, but it's they're 21, 22. What were you doing at that age, And
if you're 21 and 22 and you're saying that, people don't get real mad at you. And then I used to get really irritated. People are like, women don't come into their own until their mid-20s. I'm like, whatever. I know what kind of woman I am. And then later on, I was like, okay. I mean, not... Maybe they were right. I don't want to.
We're not saying they were wrong.
No.
But we're not saying they were right.
Yeah. Oh God, that whole thing was Mom was right. She's gonna watch it.
Yeah,
she's gonna love it. Oh.
Okay, so at this point right now, what would you say you're most proud of?
I am most proud of building the brand that is Aloha De Mele, and off of no idea what I'm doing. I still have no idea what I'm doing. I'm making it up as I go.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's the fun part.
It's very stressful. Yeah, it's the same thing with my murals. I have no idea what I'm doing, and I need to practice. These I have to practice. But the fact that, like you said, like my family, no artsy. My dad was military. My mom was like a federal worker. Like very much like, do what the military says, everything will be fine, or do what your job says, it'll be fine. So this whole entrepreneurial thing, I'm very proud that I am now tax compliant.
Take that, IRS.
Like, yes, oh thank God. And just what I think is like a proper business, I guess. And I'm very proud that I was able to paint some murals, because for a while, and like, you know, hanging out with the Worldwide Walls crew, the powwow crew, those are the cool kids. And like, I actually got to be part of it last year and then again this year. So I'm like,
cool. You're doing great things.
It's fun.
Yeah. And you're on the podcast.
And then hanging out with you.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. That's
you gotta
awesome.
come to Pilates with me next.
Yes, I will. Once I'm healthy and I'm healing up, I need to condition again. I'll definitely love to do that. I remember it was really hard and my glutes were
on fire.
Super sore. Yeah.
Those are good for you.
Yeah, exactly. I love the pain. Yeah. But going back to what I was saying about like getting people on the podcast too, it's like, that's just my opinion. I just want to make sure I don't want to seem like arrogant or whatever. It's just at the end of the day, it's my podcast. This is something that I had to work through too, is like, because people would suggest people all the time, and sometimes I feel like pressure to get certain people on.
I can see that.
But I'm just like, I don't really care. Even if they're like pretty big or they're doing stuff, I'm just like, I'm just not interested in it, you know? And then I just came to the realization, like, I can do whatever I want. This is my podcast.
That is true. Yeah.
I enjoy talking to people that I want to talk to. Like, I wanted to talk to you, not just because I like your art. Like, there's people that I love their art, you know, whatever they're doing. But sometimes I just don't want to talk about that, you know? So
I think
leave me alone, people.
No. Just leave him alone.
I just want to talk to who I want to talk to.
I think maybe because it's grown, it's funny. I mean, I'm guilty of doing this. I checked and I was like, wait, how many followers does this podcast have? And I was like, oh, like they have way more than me. So I actually have to like careful what I say. But when you do get bigger, and I've had this happen to me a couple times via email, and thankfully my studio manager deals with these angry emails and not me. People forget that there's like, it's still small. It's still your personal thing. It's still your podcast, and it has to resonate with you. And you're not doing this for like all your sponsors and everything and this and that. It's for you. And so you can do whatever you want. It's your personal. Like, I don't want to draw this right now. I'm not gonna draw this. Like, I don't feel like it. So yeah, do you, boo?
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I love the therapy part of this.
I
know. Okay, what is one thing you wish people knew about you that they don't?
I think we talked. I'm actually a very anxious, awkward person. So if I do come off a little standoffish, I promise it's not because of that. It's more just like
a little bit of elitism.
Elitism.
Me, yeah. A little bit of elitism.
Yeah, and like,
we're all on the spectrum.
Yeah. And I got about 4 hours of socialization in me at markets, and then after that it goes down.
Yeah.
So I'm usually like all the time, then I'll be like, oh hi, and then like turn it off.
Yeah, I remember seeing you at the what was the one in the convention center?
Was it PACFest or Ho'omau?
No. It wasn't that one. It was not a Made in Hawaii festival, but like
it was in a ballroom.
It was a bar. It was huge.
Ho'omau.
Was it Ho'omau?
I think so, might have been.
No, it was because my friend Drew from Sweet Enemy was also there. I think you were like drawing something at the same time.
Oh, I've done so many at the I don't know. It might have been Ho'omau.
No, it wasn't Ho'omau. It was on the second floor, right?
Ho'omau has been in the ballrooms, yeah.
Yeah, it was on the bottom floor.
It
was like Oh, it's huge. Like the whole entire.
Was it made in Hawaii?
Was it made in Hawaii?
It might have been made in Hawaii.
Was Made in Hawaii not at Ala Moana last year?
No.
Well, that was 2 years ago.
2 years ago was made in Hawaii.
Oh, so last year was the convention.
Convention center.
Okay, so it's made in Hawaii. That's what it was. Yeah, it was made in Hawaii. Hawaii versus gonna be made in Hawaii. My other business.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, you're drawing something, and then I think I said hi to you, and then I came back, and you're just like so focused. And you're like, oh, sorry, I gotta finish it. Sorry. But you're like so in the zone. So I feel like I know what you're talking about. Oh, but I wasn't a fan. I knew you were like, okay, I didn't want to bother you, but you apologized.
Yeah.
Like I already knew I didn't want to bother you, but you like was like very apologetic about it.
It's also it's a good pull for me for people to see me drawing, but it's also a way for me to kind of hide in a corner.
Yeah.
And it's weird because in my 20s, I love talking about myself and just like look at me, look at doing this. And I think it's until you get what you want or you're asking for it, then you really realize if you really wanted it. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying like I'm huge famous or anything, but it's there's certain people like I hate to keep going back to it, but like Carissa's actually a very chill, private individual. Mm-hmm. And you can see that if you pay attention, how she doesn't go out of her way to do big public things unless she has to.
Totally.
And I've kind of it's the running joke with my girls that work for me. They're like, oh, JT's in the corner. Just like I was behind a curtain at PACFest, just like watching, and then I'm like, you guys can talk to them. They're like, which one is the artist? And you can't tell because I'm just kind of like yeah.
And I totally feel that. I worked with Carissa once on the Subaru thing. We did an episode together.
Oh, cool.
This was during the pandemic, so we had to wear a mask. So I met her, and she was super nice, but I could tell like she just wants to do this and go home and like surf, whatever. Like I could tell that energy. Like that's how she is. She's very just like private, super sweet, super nice, but you can tell like
she's like, okay. I don't know if I'm like saying she's not the biggest fan of like big photo shoots and stuff. Mm-hmm,
mm-hmm. Yeah, I could tell she like her personality, like because I see her on like the CPB stuff. So she does it because like that's part of, and that a lot of athletes are like that. They're just like they don't really care for the attention. They get it because they're so good. Yeah, they just like do the media stuff, go back and do whatever they want to do.
Except for you know what I was watching, those the sprinters.
Oh, Noah Lyles.
Well, not just the couple like I was watching. It's this Netflix documentary Sprint, and they're just talking about. There's just a personality that goes along with like short burst anaerobic athletes, and one of them, even Noah was like, yeah, if you don't got main character energy, like you can't be like a sprinter. And all the guys are like, yeah, I'm gonna kill him on the track, like yeah, I know I'm gonna win, I'm the best. And like they're all just like so confident. Me, I could never. I mean
that's kind of like UFC fighters too.
That is true. You do. There has to be a certain level of
self-belief and confidence
in order to do it, because and I had to find that in art to keep doing it. But
I think there's a fine line between confidence and cockiness. Yeah. And I think, those guys come off a little bit more cocky than confident. But I think for us, especially coming from Hawaii and it's taught to be humble and stuff, it's harder for us to try to find that confidence without being too coming off arrogant and not being humble.
That's definitely been a topic of conversation. And if you that especially in Hawaii, it's very like be humble, don't boast. I think I'm not sure exactly where that came from, but I've struggled with like this is gonna sound so bad. No, it's like I'm not saying that like we don't celebrate our wins, but I've definitely like my coach for wrestling, like if we did like this when we won, he was like, I'm gonna chop your finger off. Like, you're not number one. There's somebody better than you for sure. And I've definitely had to learn how to celebrate my personal wins better to keep me going. Because then if I don't take a stand back and look at, then I'm never gonna be satisfied. I'm never gonna be happy. Yeah. And learning to, and my husband has had to tell me this multiple times, like, look where you're at. Like, you're fine. Like, believe in yourself that you can do this. And Yeah. That's like my mantra.
Yeah.
Trying to keep up with everything.
It's a lot of stimulation and, things to think about all the time.
Yeah.
Especially when you're in the public eye.
Yeah.
Even when I'm just talking about the guest stuff, I'm just like thinking in my head, like, was I too cocky? Was I not coming in? Was I concise?
This is why you don't put bumper stickers on your car.
I think mine did. I have a sticker on my truck, so I think it's pretty obvious. And I have my surf thing in the back too, so people should be able to recognize my truck.
You know what I actually get recognized? I've been called Char. Like,
because it's the tittle bun.
I guess but her bun is so much bigger than mine, and she's taller. But I've been called Char about four-ish times, and in a bathroom and at award shows. They're like, "You're like
funky yellow."
No, come on, I am an artist. Yeah. Actually, it was I felt so bad. This guy at Festpac, so Char illustrated all the kind of like the individual countries had like a pop-up saying like Tonga, and then there was like some sort of illustration under it. She illustrated all of those. Oh, cool. And somebody, I think, had mistakenly thought I did it. And she told the person, I overheard them. I just happened to be down there like, ALOHADEM. And I was like, oh, Aloha De Mele. Like, yeah. And they're like, oh my God, I'm such a huge fan. He like pointed to that. And I was like, oh shit. Like, do I? Oh, thanks. It's so nice to meet you. Like, yeah, and then they're like, you just posted this thing with like the Tongan like prime minister or something, and I had just seen Char's story, and I was like, oh my God, they think I'm Punky Aloha. What do I do? And so later I was like, yeah, come visit my booth upstairs. And then when they came up there, I think it kind of clicked that I was like, I'm not Punky Aloha, but they were still like, we still love you. And I was like, oh, you're so okay, you don't have to fake it.
That's so funny.
But it was
how do you recover from that?
I know. It's like, yeah, but and I was like, no, that's Punky here. This is her Instagram. She's really good. But
she's like, oh yeah, we're in the same art scene. I get it.
Yeah. It was so awkward. And then like the person who had said that was mine too, and I was like, oh man, I'm just gonna run away from this
stuff we gotta deal with.
Yeah.
The good problems to have, I guess.
Yeah.
For being recognizable. Okay. Before we end the podcast, I gotta know, what is your life hack?
Whatever you do it the best you can, because that's how you leave nothing unturned, and that's how you have no regrets.
Yes. Have you read the 4 Agreements before?
No.
Oh, it's one of my favorite books. I tell everybody to read it.
Okay, 4 Agreements.
4 Agreements. It's like always do your best, never take anything personally, don't make assumptions, and there's always one I forget. Do your best, don't make any assumption, and every time I forget one. I've tried to mention it on the podcast multiple times. I always get stuck on 3, and I think it's always different 3s. But basically, it's a book that just like, not kind of like how to live your life, but it's a short book, easy read, but it's just something that I live by.
Maybe we gotta do like a live, laugh, love, but the 4 Agreements.
Yeah. Well, I have a picture that I saved, so I'll look it up later. But yeah, because the thing that I always try to do is don't make assumptions and don't take anything personally.
I gotta work on that second one.
Yeah, those are hard ones to do.
Yeah.
Doing my best, that's easy. That's something that I'm sure we both do. We're 100% in, 100% out. It depends what it is. But yeah, the third one was your best. I don't want to take up too much time, but I'll look it up later. But yeah, mahalo for sharing that life hack. Okay, we're gonna get you out of here. You got another thing to go to, but I just have my last fast 5 questions. These are just rapid fire answers. Okay.
Oh, shoot. Okay. Oh man.
Okay. Favorite childhood snack?
Kakimochi and popcorn.
Oh, nice. That's a good one. How do you eat your kakimochi popcorn? Lihimui, furikake, plain?
Literally just shoving it in my mouth.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but no, just plain.
Just plain with the arare.
I do like the hurricane furikake one in there. I can't do it as much now.
Oh, okay.
But I'll make an exception.
Nice. Movie popcorn's always so good too.
I used to be taken on dates and I would just literally be like,
that's how I am. I'm just like, I finish it before the movie even starts.
You have to.
And in Hawaii, I think it's a Hawaii thing where you just hear the crunches because I kakimochi.
Classic.
So when the movie gets quieter, I'm like chewing slower, and when it gets louder, I'm just like So I time it with that. Okay, favorite guilty pleasure.
I like getting up early in the morning, drinking my coffee and eating something. Well, I don't drink coffee. My tea. And then going back to sleep.
Oh, what?
I don't know how I had that already at the ready.
Wait, so you get up, you do all that, then you go back to sleep?
I get up.
And what time?
I'll get up at like 6 or 5. And I'm like, I'm just going to eat, enjoy. And then, I'm full Kanak attack.
Geez, the early Kanak attack. I never heard of that.
It comes from being a trainer. I used to always get up at like 4 for 5 o'clock sessions. Okay. And then, but now it's like, I actually don't have to be up for another 3 hours. I'm going to go back to sleep.
Interesting. Okay. Okay. Favorite vacation destination?
I really loved New Zealand.
Oh, I gotta get there.
Yes. Oh yeah, you got.
Did you go to the Hobbit place?
Yeah.
Oh, I want to do that.
It's so cool.
Cool.
Like the meat pies, and you get like the ale. So good.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, I recommend.
Gotta do that. Okay. Favorite movie?
Ooh. You know which one I can watch on repeat is Legally Blonde.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Classic.
Yeah.
Did they have a second one?
They did. It wasn't as good.
Yeah, usually the sequels aren't as good.
Yeah.
Okay, and last one. Favorite art piece? Like a piece that you made. What's your favorite?
Oh, that I did.
Yeah.
As of right now, it is a mix between 2 pencil originals I did, and they're portraits. One is Hey Tiari Ivan, which is a Tahitian model. It was the first big art piece I did. And another is Tiati, who's a daughter of one of my friends. And she's wearing a huge lepo'o. And I started doing pencil drawings because I didn't feel like a real artist just doing digital work. So when I did those pencil drawings, I was like, okay. Like I can actually draw. So yeah.
Oh, cool. I gotta check them out.
Yeah.
I wonder if I've seen them already. They're a little older.
They don't sell as well as my colorful like lay
people
ones.
Like the real colorful stuff. Yeah.
These are just like pencil ones, but they're my favorite to do.
Okay. Yeah. Cool. Adding one more just because I'm curious. Favorite athlete, if you have one.
Oh my gosh. You came at me with that one.
Because you come from an athletic background. I don't know if you watch much these days.
I mean, alive right now?
I guess however you wanna.
Alive would be Carissa.
Oh, okay.
Yay, Carissa. Passed away, Pele.
Oh, the soccer player.
Yeah.
Okay, I was like, Tutu Pele? Yeah. Some people heard that, they're like, wait, what?
Well, yeah.
They don't know soccer.
Yeah. So yeah, maybe that.
Okay, cool. Well, that's all we have for you today. Mahalo for talking stories. Is there anything you want to share? If not, tell us where we can find you.
So you can find me. You can catch me outside. I'm just kidding. Yeah, at my studio or alohademele.com or Aloha De Mele. Anything with Aloha De Mele in the handle is probably me.
Yes. Okay, and where can people find you at? Are you going to be at a market next? Or
Made in Hawaii.
Okay.
It's coming up. Ho'omau Market's coming up. And then right in Kaka'ako where my studio is.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Well, I'm excited to see you there. I'll probably be at least one of those markets. Yes, and I'm always going to be cheering you on.
Thanks, homie.
Okay, well, mahalo, JT, for joining us on the Keep It Low podcast. Spread love, be kind to one another, and mahalo for listening to us today. We have new episodes every Thursday, so make sure you follow us and leave a review. I'm your host, Kamaka. Remember to always keep it aloha.